transmission.
Oh, that's the sound of the GSL Opera opening up our show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to day 2 here of the GSL. It was a very good day 1 here.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, sounds like some audio issues. But welcome back, Bienvenidos. We are here. We are back. We have returned with the GSL. The GSL 2026 Season 1, Round of 12 Group B. We were live last night, of course, with the initial group, and now we're here with the finale here of the Round of 12. Looks like we do have a bit of an audio issue, as we should not be hearing the other casters at the moment. So hopefully we can resolve that momentarily. So let me just refresh and double check that's actually occurring.
This is our schedule. So if you want to join us,
What's up?
on Wednesday and Thursday, and then the semifinals and the finals are all happening on Sunday on the 17th. By the way, you can buy tickets.
Clean feed.
The finals. That is the
All right.
only day that you can buy tickets. So
Cool. We'll do our best. At least for now, we'll be muted. At least until hopefully things get resolved momentarily. As for now, we're going to be jumping in. We're going to be jumping into our second day of GSL. Let us go. Once again, if you want to help support the GSL, you can do so via Patreon. The Patreon is, of course, available. Patreon.com/GSL to help support the event, to help boost the prize pool even further. Bearing in mind that the first 2 seasons of GSL are fully funded, and the 3rd season has yet to be confirmed, all based on the support via GSL. Likewise, GSL CK is currently a monthly event, and it can now turn into a bi-monthly event as well, as it looks like, it looks like the clean feed is being rectified. Hopefully things clear up. Hopefully things will clear up. But regardless, the show must go on, and we do have our initial group. It is going to be Group B. Group B consists of 4 players here. We have Cure, we have Trigger, we have ByuN, and we have Bunny as well. We have 4 players. We have 3 Terrans, 1 Protoss. Trigger, he's surrounded by Protoss. He's surrounded by sea of sorry, he's surrounded by Terran. I meant to say he's surrounded by Terran, and we'll see if he can make it through. We'll see if his PVT is up to snuff to make it through into the next stage of GSL, to make it into the round of 8. We'll see if he can. For now, I do apologize. We do have some technical issues. The stream did go down, but it should be back up momentarily, I'm sure.
Season 1.
that's
Should be back momentarily. It's all good. It is all good. But regardless, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Again, we've had a great day of StarCraft already with day 1 with Group A. We saw a lot of aggression though, a lot of cheese, a lot of 2-0s as a result of that. It was a pretty fast day of StarCraft, and we'll see if that trend continues coming into Group B. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping we get to sink our teeth into some back and forth, especially with all the TVTs. There is a chance that we might be able to embrace some mid to late game as well. I say that, but the trend so far in the meta for TVT has been hyper aggressive and very high octane, so I would expect the trend to continue when it comes to shorter games and shorter matches, but we'll see. Hopefully we can sink our teeth a little bit further into our matches and into our series. Let's go. As for now, we are just waiting for our clean feed to come back online, so we might just go on a short break. Here. When we come back, we'll have the rest of our broadcast. We'll have the rest of Group B. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Do apologize for that short break and for some of the technical issues, but we have returned. We've returned here with the GSL 2026 Season 1 Group B initial match of the broadcast. Again, it's a group consisting of Cure, Trigger, alongside Bunny and ByuN, 3 Terrans and 1 Protoss, and now we're jumping to Game 1. Now, we did miss out on the initial couple of minutes here of the match, unfortunately, but we are jumping right on in. When it comes to the early game here, Cure, he went for a proxy Rax. He went for initial proxy racks into the bunker, was not all in, was not overly committed, was just designed to get some damage done early on, and Trigger was able to shut it down. He shut it down, caught the Reaper. We had some miscontrol at a Cure, so Cure did overextend, lost the Reaper, bunker was shut down, and in the end, Trigger does hold. So honestly, a very nice start here for Trigger as he shuts down the early attempted aggression from Cure, and Cure fails to get the damage done that he was hoping for. So very rough setup here from Cure. Behind this, going for his own 3-1-1 follow-up, we just see the Reaper is going to be zoned away. Nice defense so far by Trigger. He's maintaining his defenses. He's building up on 2 bases, and he's playing very safely as well, getting into 2 gate blink into a 3rd. I believe it's 2 gateway. We might be seeing a 3rd gateway as well. I haven't quite gotten an eye on the initial gateway count, but regardless, safe play to Trigger as he expands, building into the mid game. Welcome and also Title Citadel. Title Citadel is one of the larger maps of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground. When it comes to this map does typically favor Protoss players in a longer and later game. I say typically because of the gold expansion. If the Protoss player can gain map control, if they can gain map control, if they can take over control of the map, contain the Terran opponent, and take over that gold expansion, then the Protoss players are going to be heavily favored when it comes to building up in towards a longer and later game and just hammering down the Terran over time. We'll see if they can get there. We'll see if they can get there. We'll see if Trigger can maintain that momentum. For now, he's going for extra gateways here into the Bay, into Colossus before charge. Interesting. So going for delayed charge and no storm into earlier Colossus. This is a bit of a safer style to work with. It does give you a robust army as well, and it's a more defensive style as well. Going to earlier charge allows you to be more active and more aggressive and potentially go for some zealot drops and go for some engagements, some harassment, some surrounds as well, some flanks. Going into earlier Colossus does tell us that Trigger wants to just build up his Colossus count back at home and settle in towards a longer and later game. That is a perceived kind of follow-up here from Trigger. So now we are going to be opening up. Again, Trigger being a little more tame here is just slowly building up back at home. He's not really being active. There's no stalkers out on the map. There's no Prism harassing or threatening the bases or anything like that. So we do see Trigger now looking to poke out, but again, just to keep an eye on any kind of move outs. As he moves out, Reaper moves in, and Cure spots saturation at the 3rd. So it does confirm saturation. Stalkers, they pick in. They pick in, they pull away. So far, Cure he does hold. Does defend, chasing back some of those stalkers. Curie does have momentum. Sim is going to finish up as the army gets across the map, and it's going to be on Trigger to slow this down. Like Trigger, he has to engage ahead of time, picking up some of the Reapers, some of the Marauders, some of the Marines. If at all possible, 1 Marine does get picked off, so nice pick off here by Trigger, but he needs more than that. More importantly, he needs to delay the push. Catching out another Marine, not bad. Tank does siege. Ooh, lock-on is broken. In the end, breaks the lock-on, pulls away. Does pull further back. Cure's trying to gain some ground. Nice armor shred here on the charge lots. Yeah, his charge was not even done. Colossus too close. Oh my god, taking a lot of hits, taking a lot of damage. Lock on the Colossus is broken just barely. Whew, and Trigger is holding, but this is a messy defense here for Trigger. Bleeding out a lot of zealots, taking a lot of damage. But he does hold. Ooh, even catching the Raven. Not bad. Does catch the Raven towards the end. Trigger so far so good. He's maintaining himself. At least he was able to engage the army ahead of time, and he was able to engage outside of range of his bases, and there it is. There's the gold. We spoke about this earlier. If Trigger can gain momentum, if he can gain map control, he can claim the gold, and then he can just snowball into a win. That gold base is going to be crucial, and we'll see if he can get there. Yeah, we shall see. So now we are pushing forward. Once again, the Trigger gaining map control is up to 2, soon to be 3 Colossus. Cure forced into Viking production. He's cranking out his Vikings. incorporating more Marauders. I will say that Trigger, I don't think he has done the best job here at gaining map control. Like, sure, he's posturing in the center of the map, but Cure does have a threatening army. Like, Cure, he can still threaten and he can still push in. Ooh, when the armies, they pass by each other. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, the gold base is exposed. And who catches who? Cure, he does move in. Yeah, he goes for the stim, it gets off the expansion, and Trigger is coming in from behind. The warp, and it looks like it will barely finish. And Cure, can he get out of here? Can he get out? Can he escape? Oh, boy's being pulled, locking down the army. Colossus still coming in from behind. Does focus on the Vikings, but the army stims away. Yeah, the army does break through, does stim through. 12 probe kills, critical damage. And you can see the Trigger, he failed to lock down the army. He tried to, he almost did, but he just didn't have enough zealots. Just did not have enough army. And those are hefty losses for Trigger. In the end, this was worth of a Cure. Gets the middle line, trades well against the army, and the Colossus are exposed. Yeah, once again they're exposed. The juggling though, oh my god. Very nice juggling. But these are still expensive losses here. Trigger pulling away, saving the Colossus. Down to 2, down to 3. Again, they're barely alive. The Vikings doing so much, and oh, does he get one? He does. Yeah, he does get 1 Colossus. There's 2 Colossus left. Juggling is not good enough to save additional Colossi, but he does barely hold on. He takes the fight. We gotta go. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep pushing. Trigger, he has to get into that mineral line. He has to keep pushing forward. And he does chase down the Medivacs. Nice pick up. He gets 1, he gets 2. 2 Medivacs go down. Getting into the mineral line, getting into the SCVs, and here come the Warpins. Again, Trigger, he's got to keep going. Turning right now is not a good option. It's not an option here. Checking with the 3rd. Now pushing it towards the natural. E-base exposed. Ooh. Boys are being pulled. Colossus is getting very low. Colossus is still getting low, but dancing with the army picking up SCVs is still a good trade. He's going for the CC. Okay. He's going for the command center. And we'll see if we can get a kill. Colossus pulls away. Boys are being pulled. Can he save the CC? 1 more volley. He gets it. Oh no. He gets it. Oh my god, just barely. CC goes down, the Prism does fall, and that means so does the Colossus. Yeah, Colossus finally falls as well. With that, Curie snowballing out of control, he breaks the main army. No more splash damage, no more Colossus. I say that another Colossus is going to be rallying in. Does rally forward, but does take too many hits though. Yeah, it takes so much damage here. We need more Zealot buffer, more Zealot reinforcements. Colossus goes down. And we're getting messy. We're getting messy here. 29 SCVs remaining here for Cure. He barely has an economy left. But here come the Warpins. Trigger, he can keep going. Send that bappy. Keep sending it. As Trigger, he gets onto the army, he gets onto the Marauders. And something that I was going to say earlier, but I mean, due to the technical difficulties, we couldn't get into it. But fun fact, Trigger, he actually beat Cure in the qualifiers. GG gets called, and Trigger, he'll take game number 1. Whew. GG, a very, very intense game 1 here. Very intense, very back and forth. In the end, Trigger, he barely does overwhelm. It was a messy game, don't get me wrong. Very messy, very high octane. But Trigger, he overwhelms, he gains momentum. The micro with the Prism was crazy, Papi, by the way. It was crazy, it was insane. It was impressive, and with that, Trigger takes a lead. Whew. Trigger, he does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if he can claim the series here and now. We'll see if he can go all the way. Can he send it, Pappy? Can he send it? But again, for those that are curious, for those that maybe missed this, we did cover the qualifiers of the GSL, and in said qualifiers, we were able to cover Trigger's run, and Trigger, he did defeat Cure to qualify for GSL. He did beat him in the qualifier, that was what, last week, and now he's here in the main event, and can he do it again? Can he also bring Cure down in the group stage? So far, he's taken that first step, but now we're ready for game 2, loading into Winter Madness. Another larger map, a larger map of the map pool. Once again, I'm a little bit surprised that this map made it through the veto process. Not gonna lie, like, this map, I want to say favors the Protoss when it comes to gaining map control and gaining that momentum, but let's go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have a Cure, the South Korean Terran for Team Liquid. Can we? Yeah. And in the top left hand corner, we have the Canadian Protoss player, we have Trigger for Basilisk. Here we go. We got the Basilisk boy up against the Team Liquid. Once again, Cure, he does fan out across the map with the SCV. We'll see if the plan is to go for an eBay block or if he goes for a proxy Rax. Eyes are on Cure as he does actually stop by close to his side of the map. Interesting. Okay, going for the proxy. He's going for the racks. Once again, this is not overly committed. This is not overly aggressive. Once again, the goal here is to poke in and gain some momentum early on, disrupt the economy while transitioning back at home. That's why technically this racks is on Cure's side of the map. It's not overly aggressive. It is not overly committed. And ideally, he even forces an overreaction. True, true. Ideally. We'll see if he can. Now, the Rax is progressing. From here, that Rax is progressing. Marines are amassing as well. Oh, we're not even applying any pressure. Okay, I assumed it was just going to be Proxy Reaper, but no. Whoa, we're going for the factory alongside it, though. Okay, okay, it's the Cure. At first, I thought it was going to be a fake out, but no, we are committing here into a 1-1-1. Cure, he's going for an all-in. He's going for one base all-in. Okay. Este Cure. Last, we do see the trigger. He's searching for the proxy. He's aware that the Rax is missing, at least the Rax. He does respond. Yeah, Marina's revealed back at home, so Trigger, he now knows that the Rax is on the Cure side of the map. He's now aware of at least that, but again, it's a one base all in. It's still that 1-1-1. And Trigger, he's still searching. Oh, he finds him. Oh my god, finally he does rally over. It's a bit of a later scout, but he does confirm the proxy Rax, the factory, and what should be... He doesn't see the starport, but seeing the factory with the tech lab as well, he knows. He should have seen everything he needs to. With that back at home, he's setting up. Stalker already picking away at the Marines. Not bad. This is permanent damage. Remember, there's no medevac. Not yet. Yeah, not yet. One Marine goes down. He gets one. Gets one Marine. Pulls further away. Doesn't test his luck. Does when he gets surrounded. And one way or another, either Cure, he kills Trigger, he dies trying with this. So our Twilight Council on the way. Interesting that we're going for Twilight Council instead of the Robo. This is a little bit riskier here. Trigger is thinking about Blink when I would say a more secure way to defend would be Immortals. Yeah, Tank Volley does punish. And here comes the drop. Alright, getting ready for the move out. As we're building up more tanks, getting even into combat shields. Crazy. Ah, Cure dropping back home initially, at least, to make sure he's able to defend. Ready for any kind of backstab. I'm reminded of RSL. We saw something very similar. If you recall, we saw this between Maru and Zaun in their RSL match last season. Cure does pull back. He's building up to 3, soon to be 4 tanks. This is such a tank-heavy composition. This is also why I mentioned that I feel like a more secure way of dealing with this would be to go in towards Immortal production. But thankfully, Charge will finish in time. I mean, that's another solid alternative option. Mass Zealots, if he can get on top of the tanks. Jesus, there's just so much buffer here. It's just a massive army. There's so much to work with. Uh-oh. They're missing each other. They pass, but no! Yeah, Trigger's out of position. Yeah, Trigger's out of position, which means Curie can siege up. He can siege up on top of the base. Trigger turns back around. And now he has to fight without the batteries. Ay, ay, ay. Curie has the high ground. He has the high ground. Zealots are going to be trickling in. We're going to get at least onto 1 tank. Ooh, massive tank shots. 1, 2, 3 tanks going to be going down. Can he get all 4? He can. Whew, gets us around. Gets us around. Delta coming from behind. A battery did actually help towards the end. And Trigger is holding. He is holding on. He's lacking stalkers. These were expensive trades for Trigger, but he is holding. Send that pappy. And now came to the production. Needs to get himself with that tank. Yeah, coming in for the surround, a nice engage. And he's going to do it here. Again, he may have taken down a Cure 2-1 in the qualifiers, but here he's looking for a clean 2-0. Game 1 was still very messy, very shaky, and very, very close and very clutch. But here in Game 2, Trigger, he was able to scout, able to react, able to respond. I was concerned about his later tech, but it was a later push, remember. It was Cure going for a 4-tank move out. And GG gets called. Trigger, who'll claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round, to the winners match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Trigger, he will claim the initial series, and with that, that's another fast matchup here. Again, we spoke earlier about how these matches so far in GSL have been very fast, have been very aggressive, but alas here, Trigger, the same is continuing here in Group B. We saw it in Group A, we're seeing it here in Group B as well, with Trigger claiming the 2-0 here. Again, Game 1 was very close, very clutch when it came to Cure and Trigger and the mid-game, and fighting for map control and fighting for control of the map and aggression that were in each other's faces. Here in Game 2, we saw that Cure, he went for the proxy 1-1-1, sorry, technically proxy 2-1-1, into a 4-tank 1-base all-in, and I was concerned that Trigger was going to be caught in the low ground, that he had to push up the ramp and take extra shots, and he did take extra shots. It was a more difficult fight for Trigger, but he still shut it down. The Mass Zealot was or did work wonderfully there for Trigger. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be going in a short break. When we come back, we'll have ByuN versus Bunny in the next match. See you soon. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon.
GSL Season 1.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the 2026 GSL Season 1 Ro12 Group B. We just wrapped up with our first matchup already. A very fast initial best of 3 between Trigger and Cure. Trigger did take down Cure 2-0, and Trigger is now waiting in the winner's match, waiting for the winner of the next matchup, of course, waiting for another Terran player, one of many, as he is surrounded by Terran. It is Bunny versus ByuN. The ByuN, papi, let's go. Bunny and ByuN, they often do go back and forth. Bunny's always a player that I've had a bit of a harder time kind of grasping his current rate of play at, or his current skill level at, just because Bunny is a little bit less active compared to the others, right? Cure, ByuN, for example, they both play in all the online tournaments. They play in the Pegasus Cups, Wardy TV Monday, Sparkling Tuna Cups as well, all the open tournaments. Cure and ByuN, they're all over the place. Bunny, he's a little bit more reserved when it comes to when he does show up for the open cups, so at times it can be harder to kind of gauge that current skill level that Bunny has to offer, and he always pops off. Like, it's one of those things where Bunny, like, every now and then he just pops off, he looks amazing, he has a deeper and deeper run, and then he like hibernates for a little bit. So we'll see. We shall see how he does perform here. We have our quote from Bunny, GSL forever. And of course, we have the most recent results. Likewise, here we have ByuN as well. We have his quote, I'm not confident at all of winning. Oh no, Fabian. We've had a lot of players that are a little bit more reserved in their comments, and of course a little bit more tentative in how they approach things. I mean, hey, when you're in the GSL with players like Maru, players like Hero, players like Classic, it can be a daunting task. But I want to believe that ByuN has a good chance to make it through this group. But now we do see some recent results, as hopefully everything's okay as ByuN does waddle away. We have the 6th place in 2025 GSL Season 1. We have 24th at DreamHack Dallas. We have top 10 in GSL Season 2 of last year. We have top 16 at EWC, but again, we'll see how he does perform as we have our vetoes completing. We have Winter Madness for game 1, Title Citadel, and Tourmaline for game number 3. Interesting. When it comes to the vetoes themselves, we do see that Bunny got rid of some of the larger maps. Celestial Enclave, larger macro map, more defensive map. Mothership, also larger map as well with some RNG. And Old Republic, another bit of a larger map as well. So Bunny has gotten rid of some of these other more macro intensive maps. I'm curious if he does take a more aggressive approach. Meanwhile, ByuN got rid of some of the smaller maps. Ruby Rock and 10,000 Feet were gotten rid of, same with White Rabbit as well. So interesting approach here from our two players. Winter Madness is one of the more standard maps, to be fair. There's a little bit less kind of diversity here, or less kind of leaning towards one way or the other when it comes to aggression or hyper defense compared to Celestial, compared to Ruby Rock. Tourmaline made it through, so things get very aggressive towards the end of the series, but we'll see what our players have planned for us. I expect this to be a shorter one here. Again, TVT has a reputation of being hyper aggressive and hyper intense and hyper octane in current meta, in current years. We'll see if that trend continues in this TVT. Let's go. As in the top left-hand corner, we do have our South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran, it is Bunny. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Terran for Shelf Rebellion, it is ByuN. And here we go, the first TCV is sent across the map, no surprises here, and eyes are on ByuN to see how committed we are going to be, as it is only going to be the one, no, the second SCV as well. So 2x Reaper at a ByuN. We knew that this would happen at some point in the series, we just didn't know from who and when exactly in the series as well. ByuN is going to be the first to throw down the gauntlet. He's going for a hyper aggressive build, going 2x Reaper. Meanwhile, Bunny, does he go for an economic opener or does he play it safe? We're looking to see if Bunny goes for a Rax expand off of a single gas geyser or a 2-gas opener into a faster factory. One is greedier, the other is safer, and we'll see how Bunny does handle himself here. Oh boy, as looks like Bunny is going for a single gas opener. So a more economic start at a Bunny. This will make it easier for ByuN to get damage done, to get across the map, and to wreak havoc. And we'll see if ByuN can escalate that into a solid lead, if not even a win. So ByuN does have the advantage early on. This isn't like a build or a win by any means. It's just an advantage here for ByuN, for sure. It's a big advantage. Here we go, Reapers are amassing. They're on the way. They're going to be on the way here. Likewise, there it is. We have our 2x Reaper. Is amassing. Bunny getting CC on the high ground. At least it's safe on the high ground. That is true. So it could be worse. It could be on the low ground. Could be more exposed. Could even force a cancel. But essentially, Bunny, once he realizes what's going on, he has to react by pulling the boys. He has to pull the boys, and more importantly, Bunny, he has to protect his first Reaper. If his first Reaper is killed, if it dies early on, that's game. That's game done in there, just because your production is so limited this early on. Ooh, as he's going straight for the reactor. Reaper into reactor, which means his second Reaper is going to be delayed. He does scout nearby, and it looks like he will see. Ooh, he gets caught. No. Okay, he takes 2 volleys. Bunny going into the main base. There's a cancellation on the CC. Ay. And the Reapers, they go for the dive. They will delay the factory. Factory will not finish. And if the factory doesn't finish, that means there's no Hellion. That means there's no way to win the game. Things are looking dire here for Bunny. It goes from bad to worse here. Boys are being pulled. SCVs are going down. The Marine is going to be targeted. Nice control here by ByuN. He does get the Reapers. He does get the Marine. He does take down the Marine in the end. Nice KDA charge. Bunny, he's across the map, but he's not doing any real damage. And this is game ending. This is game ending here. At least the factory does complete. The Hellion is on the way, but that's still 9 SCVs going down. And even more here. Yeah, the Marine does fall. Reaper count is still healthy. Ooh, 1 Reaper goes down to the SCVs, but that's still 11 SCV kills. That is still too much. That is still far too much. I'm still building up more Reapers. We can still dive on the Hellion. The Hellion does pull back to the mineral line. Can be repaired. Oof. Speaking of KDA charge, there it is. GG gets called. GG gets called. Game ending damage, and ByuN takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. ByuN does take a lead in the series. Again, hyper aggression cheese here in game number 1, which is to be expected in TVT. But we did mention it, Bunny did go for a greedy build. He went for a greedy build, so he was caught with his pants down. Not just greedy build, but also he went for a Reaper into reactor. So with that, he could not make a second Reaper. On top of that, we saw that he was caught out, and his first Reaper did take extra volleys. So he could not engage, could not defend. Everything just went from bad to worse there for Bunny. And with that, ByuN snowballs into a win. GG. GG, well played. ByuN needs a snowball into win, and with that, ByuN, he does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if Bunny can recover and bounce back. We'll see if ByuN can close it out here and now. Oh boy. Immediately starts bantering. True. Immediately the banters, might be the banters. So now we are going to be jumping into that second game, and again, I'm hoping for a back and forth. I'm hoping for a series, but spawning in the top left-hand corner, moving out across the map once again with the SCV. Let's go. We have ByuN in the bottom right. We have Bunny. So here we go. The TVT does continue, and ByuN, the aggression continues as well as he goes for the same build. Not just 1, 2 SCVs. 2 SCVs, proxy 2x Reaper, same build out of ByuN. Now, this is where mind games come to play. Okay, this is where it's all about the mind games. Bunny, does he believe that ByuN would not dare do the same build 2 games in a row, and then does Bunny open up economically again and then die again, right? That's the thing here, as ByuN is going for the proxy right in the face of Bunny. And again, I'm hoping that Bunny plays it safe. I'm hoping he goes for a double gas opener. If he doesn't go double gas, then things are already looking dire for Bunny. Oh boy. And again, it's not a build order loss, but it just means that there's less room for error for Bunny, right? He cannot make these mistakes. Yep, as you can see, the observer's pointing out, only 1 gas. Only a single gas, guys. So Bunny, he's going for a Rax Expand. Once again, same build. I'm hoping that this time Bunny doesn't get... SV. No, it doesn't scout. I'm hoping that this time Bunny doesn't get his first Reaper caught. SV does move out across the map. Does move out to scout, and will eventually confirm that the Raxes are missing. But it all comes down to that first reaction. It comes down to whether or not Bunny loses that first Reaper, and the reaction of pulling the boys. Pulling the boys. This time, he might also not go reactor right after the Reaper, I'm hoping. There's that CC on low ground. SCV comes in for the scout. Yep. There's that command center. And the SCV does confirm. Yeah, there we go. Now he knows. Now he does know. Now he's fully aware. Rax is missing. Bunny cancels. Bunny does cancel immediately. He's as a bunker immediately. Good reaction. Good reaction so far. So he cancels the CC. He gets a refund. With that refund, he throws down 2 bunkers, and he starts up a second Reaper, second Marine, not going for the reactor. So far, good reaction by Bunny. So far, a very quick, a very crisp reaction here by Bunny. And this time, ByuN should not deal devastating damage. It should not be game ending this time. Yep, he breaks in. Does spot the bunkers, and ByuN is deflected. Now remember, 2x Reaper is not an all-in. We have to emphasize that. ByuN is not all-in. ByuN can transition out of this. What is the common transition? Second gas into a factory into magfill accelerator cyclones. Now the reason for this is because as the aggressing player with your proxy, your racks is going to be floating. They're going to be in the air, so you do need cyclones for a robust defense. That should be the follow-up here by ByuN. You can see the factories in the production tab. Ooh, meanwhile the bunkers are too far back. Yeah, bunkers, they cannot defend the depot. Yeah, they're just too far back here. Ay, ay, ay. That's a massive supply block for Bunny. This does not bode well. SCVs are going to be denied. One SCV falls, and we're going to get a second depot. Bunny can't make anything. He does have a Hellion on the way, thankfully. He does have one Hellion, but a massive supply block. Oh, the Hellion. We're going to go for the dive. Yeah, we break in. Gets a Marine. There's one Marine left, at least in the northern bunker. Sorry, 2 Marines, 3 Marines now. Down to 2. Down to 1. Oof, and this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand here. This should not have happened. Again, it was a stronger defense out of Bunny. It was a strong reaction, but alas, the bunkers that were too far apart, the depots were exposed, and in the end, 4 SCV kills, plus Marines, plus 2 depots, and there's that cyclone follow-up into Macfield. As we mentioned, this is a common follow-up here. Going into Macfield accelerators. This does not mean mech. I should emphasize that as well for those that are maybe unfamiliar, but this does not mean mech. We are getting into a bio follow-up after this. You just need your initial 3 cyclones to secure yourself to defend against the Hellions. You can see Bunny's fanning out with those Hellions. Cyclones should pop out in time to defend. And we already have one. And he's already got the one. As Hellions they poke in. The Cyclone I think was moving out across the map. Yeah, the Cyclone's out of position. Okay. Couple of SCV kills. Not bad. Here we go. Cyclone does flank. Catching out one of the Hellions. And from here, the game will continue. ByuN has a lead. ByuN is up in workers. He has a CC on location. Reapers, they bust into the main. No, more SCV kills. Not like this. Not like this. 1, 2, 3 SCVs. I have 5 in total. And this is critical damage. It's critical damage. GG gets called far too much. ByuN here overwhelms, and ByuN, he will claim the series 2-0, taking down Bunny and advancing on to the winners match. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Winding it back here, ByuN going for the same build 2 games in a row. Game 1, Bunny got caught with his pants down. Game 2, that was more on Bunny. That was on Bunny here, as if you recall, Bunny, he did have a reaction. He did scout. That was all good. He canceled the CC, threw down the bunkers, but the bunkers, they were not close enough to protect his wall-off, to protect his depots, so he was unable to protect and stop himself from being denied that supply block. Supply block got out of hand. Reavers, they went further back in, and they were able to kill so many workers, more than should have. They were still away into the bases, so a very shaky defense there from Bunny, very messy, and in the end, he fell apart. Bunny fell apart. With that, ByuN, he'll advance on into the next round, and with that, we have our... how long has it been? It's been like half an hour, like ay. But here we go. We're getting ready here for our winners match. It is going to be a best of 3 between Trigger and ByuN in a TVP. Let's go. Let us go. We are getting ready. We'll see you guys soon after this short break. See you soon.
GSL Season 1.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the 2026 GSL Season 1 Ro12 Group B. Welcome back to the winners match. So far, it's been a very fast group stage, just like last night, to be fair. Very fast, a lot of short games, a lot of aggressive matches between our players, and we'll see if that aggression continues as we have our winners match. It's going to be a TVP between Trigger and ByuN. Trigger, he just took down Cure 2-0. ByuN just took down Bunny 2-0 as well, and now we have that winners match. Let's go. I'm ready, I'm excited. Show us the Viters. Again, we did see a lot of aggressive tendencies from everyone involved, to be fair. We'll see that translates and if that continues coming into this series as well. Let's go. Let us go as we have our vetoes. Okay, let's have a closer look here. So game 1 is going to be on Winter Madness, game 2 10,000 feet, game 3 White Rabbit. Interesting. Now Trigger's bans make sense. Trigger got rid of Tourmaline and Ruby Rock. Those are two of the more aggressive maps of the map pool, and he got rid of Mothership, which has that RNG factor and also is a lot more open as well. So he's got rid of 3 maps that are the two I would say favor more aggression. Meanwhile, ByuN got rid of Celestial Enclave, which is hyper defensive. He got rid of Old Republic, which is difficult to maintain at 3rd and 4th base, and got rid of Title Citadel as well, which also has the gold expansion. So these videos so far make sense, and now we're jumping into our series. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the Canadian Protoss player, the blue Protoss of Bastos. It is Trigger. In the right hand corner we have Shopify. It is ByuN. Shopify. They just give you no time. Ay, ay, ay. we just want to get some intros going, papi. Ay, ay, ay. Por favor. But let's go. Let us go. Again, we have our best of 3. We have our winners match available here. The winner of this series will advance on to the round of 8. The loser will be knocked down to the decider match. They will have another chance, another life available to them, if you will, to make it through into the next round. But alas, you do want to make it out first, if at all possible, to minimize those matches and to get the best seeding possible into the next group stage as well. Let's go. Let us go. As for the time being, we do have our initial openers. This time, no proxy, right? ByuN, he went for non-stop cheese, non-stop proxy in the previous series against Bunny. Here, we're opening up in a cool, calm, and collected manner. So far, so good. Going for the Rax Expand. Single gas opener out of ByuN, going for a faster CC. Okay, so economic start. Meanwhile, welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness, this is one of the larger maps in the map pool, longer rush distance by ground. I would say that this map is considered to be the most standard map in the current map pool. It doesn't favor aggression, of course. It doesn't favor too heavy turtle play either. You can more or less comfortably build up into the mid game, and as a Terran player, even if your opponent, even if the Protoss player gains map control and takes over the map, you're still in good standing to maintain your own corner and to break out and to get a 5th base as well. Meanwhile, the initial CC is going to be thrown down. We have our initial command center, we have our initial setup, and from here, ByuN, he does go for his own economic opener. Meanwhile, Trigger, he's typically a much more standard player. We saw it a little bit against Cure, where he's one to just open up Blink and to build up in towards the mid game. Against Cure and Title Citadel, we did see that Trigger went for an earlier Bay into earlier Colossus, so we'll see if that trend continues or if he does decide to go for earlier Storm or earlier Charge. There are different possibilities or different kind of paths you can go down when it comes to that mid game after a Blink based opener, whether you want to go into Charge, into Storm, or into Colossus. Which one's first, which one's prioritized, will kind of lead you down a different way of approaching the mid game. Of course, that's all after Blink. And there's that Twilight Council. There is that Blink on the horizon. We're assuming Blink. Technically, this could be like a weird DT opener or an early charge opener as well, but those are typically kind of reserved for other kinds of players. Like, I don't really see Triggers being too cheeky and too chaotic. He's not like a hero, he's not a classic. They're the kind of players that are willing to spice things up quite hard. Trigger, he's a little more standard in his approach, is willing to be aggressive in certain aspects, don't get me wrong, but he's not as diverse or as chaotic as some of the other top Korean Protoss players. A little bit more tame, a little bit more restrained. For now though, Adeptus break in. With that ByuN, he will zone this away. Behind this, going into additional Hellions, actually. Interesting. Usually you make the one Hellion just for scouting information, but no, we have a second Hellion on the way and a medevac. We're going for the early Hellion Marine drop. Okay, so early economic damage is the name of the game for ByuN. He wants to get across the map, bust into the mineral line, and get as much damage done as possible. We'll see if he can break through. We'll see if Trigger can scout this and get in position in time, as Trigger has yet to see the second Hellion. So Trigger is in the dark. He's in the dark as what's going on. Here comes that medevac, here comes the drop. So Marines are loading up, Hellions on the ground, Marines in the sky. It's go time. Now bearing in mind, 3 Hellions, they one-shot perps. 3 Hellions will one-shot workers, so Trigger has to be so careful here. He does have a pylon in position as scouts, not bad. Pylon is in position. The army does come together. Medevac does go over the pylon. And the medevac will distract. You can see here he's dragging Trigger out of position. Hellions ready for the backstab on the left-hand side, ready for the flank. Hellions going in. Yeah, they're diving into the main. Trigger's distracted. Hellions go straight into the main base, straight into the middle line, and Trigger, does he react in time? Does he notice? Ooh. Yeah, Heli volley goes off. It gets 1, gets 2. Did I say 2? Getting up to 5. Oh, this is getting out of hand. Oh, this is getting very quickly out of hand here. 8 to 10 probes going down. This is game-ending damage. Another volley. Oh my god, 11 probe kills. That is insane damage early on. The medevac survives. The Marines pull away, and ByuN takes a lead. Oof. ByuN takes the lead here. That is almost a mineral line worth of workers. It almost was even worse, by the way. I did notice the shot was barely missed. So ByuN, he dealt critical damage early on. Blink is finishing up, and Trigger, he needs to counterattack as Trigger is behind. Trigger, he is behind. He is in a rough position here. The pressure is on behind this Trigger. He's going for charge. He's going for a later bait. Sorry, a later robo. It was an attempted economic build here by Trigger with a faster, greedier third expansion. But is not getting away with it. Not like this. Adapt his courts. Stalkers are moving out. Again, Trigger, he needs to find any kind of damage here. A couple of Marines, a tank ideally. We need something. It's a Marine. Something. Behind this, going for a delayed bay into charge. Trigger is working on building up his economy once again. The reality is that ByuN has momentum. And even here, going for auto type harass, getting another 4 probes. Ay. Brutal damage. And here comes the move out. ByuN trying to catch out the Stalker. Does get the Stalker. Nice big up. One Stalker goes down. Trigger this time paying attention. Yeah, pokes in, nibbling away at the army. But last, ByuN, he does still maintain. Leaves out 1 Marine, and this is buying time at least, right? Trigger didn't lose any Stalkers. Not after the first one. He's just buying time, delaying while he builds up Colossus. But the reality is that ByuN still has a larger force and still has momentum, and if he moves that across the map, then he can straight up break the third. Trigger is in trouble. He attempts to flank, he attempts to engage. Doesn't quite catch out the reinforcements. I believe there should be 1 Colossus to defend, just the 1. Cells are coming from behind, he gets another tank, not bad, 1 tank goes down. It takes out 1 of the tanks, going for the other. Oof. One shot goes off, that's 2 tanks falling, and with that Trigger, he might be able to hold on here. He's got his Colossus still up and running. Let's go to Colossus. Drop in towards the mineral line, but Trigger does hold. Again, it's crucial here he was able to engage before the tank siege. It is crucial. So he did engage ahead of time, drop into the mineral line. Oof. No major damage though, gets a probe, denies mining. Distracting Trigger, we have a secondary army pushing in towards the third base. Oh, as ByuN does attempt to trade here, bleeds out some Marines, bleeds out some Marauders. Is it worth it? He wants that third. He wants it. But Trigger, he responds. Yeah, Trigger is now up to 2 Colossus. Trigger, he should hold on here. And he does. Again, after a shaky start, Trigger, he's surviving. No! Oh my god. It's still shaky though. Like, the reality is that ByuN still has map control, ByuN still has momentum, ByuN is still rallying across, and Trigger is treading water. Another Colossus! Yeah, Colossus exposed. Marines, they stim in, he gets one! Yeah, one Colossus will fall. Does he get both? He will. There's no Prism. There's no War Prism here. Both Colossus go down. Massive pickoffs. And with that, Trigger, he just was not able to stabilize. Early on, he lost 11 probes, and from that moment, he was on the back foot, and at last, he just cannot build back up. He's down to one Colossus. And ByuN, he just has to keep pressuring. Just keep pressuring, keep rallying. Does force a cancel. Picking up more Zealots. And as long as ByuN doesn't make a major mistake here, he should be fine. Once again, catching another Stalker. Another Stalker goes down. Now he's got some Vikings, so he can chase down the Colossus. He can give chase. And he shouldn't stop. Batteries are helping. Trigger pulls back to his third base. Again, ByuN, he is up heavily here in terms of supply, in terms of the economy, the bases, the army as well. So been looking out for ByuN. Lands the armor shred. Yeah, shreds the armor. Keeps on pushing. And Trigger's just trying to hold on. Bappy's trying. Oh my god. Takes on the Viking. Colossus barely survives. Nah, but I started too soon, as the Colossus is going to go down once again. Resets the Colossus count. No more Immortals. No more Zealots. Just vanilla Stalkers. And once again, they're being chased down as well. They cannot blink away. And ByuN has done it. ByuN, he has done it. He has broken the third. Again, just from the beginning, the momentum was just too much. The early game Hellion harass is what kind of set the pace for the game. It's so difficult to recover from early game aggression. And losing 11 probes out early on, that is brutal. GG gets called, and ByuN will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. ByuN does take a lead in the series. Again, early game aggression, early game Hellion harass. But remember, it wasn't just the Hellions, it was the Hellion alongside the Marine drop. The Marine drop distracted Trigger, and Hellions, they dove straight into the main base, and that is when critical damage was dealt. From that moment, ByuN took a lead economically, and he was able to maintain that and turn that into an army lead and snowball out of control. Trigger, if you recall, the onus was on him to try to slow down the push, and he was able to pick away like at 1, 2, 3 Marines. He was able to collapse on the tanks at least as well, but the momentum was just too strong. ByuN was too far ahead, and Trigger did not do enough to recover from those earlier losses. GG. GG, well played. It all just cascades from one into the other. The domino effect is real when it comes to early game economic damage in TVP, and it goes both ways, right? I'd say the same if ByuN had lost that many workers, just as Trigger did. But now we're going to be loading into game 2. We're going to be loading into 10,000 feet, a much smaller map this time. Much smaller map. As a result, momentum is strengthened even further here on 10,000 feet. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have from Canada, representing Basilisk, Trigger. And in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. It is ByuN for Shopify. Let's go. Let's go. Yo, I gotta get that fanfare in there somehow. True. We need the fanfare. Here we go. With that, again, ByuN, he does have momentum in the series, and we'll see if he can claim it here and now. I'm hoping the Trigger can make a series out of this, but we need to tighten up that early game. So it comes down to we got to tighten up the early game and have a much stronger start here, much more stronger early game and stronger momentum, stronger economy. We'll see if Trigger can maintain himself. For now, moving out across the map, and ByuN does open up with a single gas. Okay. So far, so good. So once again, economic start out of ByuN, and once again, it's going to be on Trigger to try to get a read on what kind of aggression is coming his way. Whether it's a Hellion drop, whether it's Reaper Hellion, whether it's Woodmine drop or Banshee play, early Cyclones, tank push. ByuN has a lot available to him, and it's on Trigger to figure that out. To piece it all together. As from here, ooh, that should not have happened. Trigger, he pokes in to delay the expansion, and the SCVs will kill the probe. Ay, 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 a rough start here for Trigger. Very rough start. From there, ByuN can expand, going Tech Lab first into early Marauder. The Marauder is designed to punish the punish from Trigger. The goal here is if Trigger moves out with the early Adept and early Stalker, then the Marauder can punish that early gateway unit. And very commonly, ByuN can either turn this into a 3-Rax or a 3CC 3-Rax. And there it is, second Rax is on the way. It is going to be the 3-Rax. It's going to be a massive stim timing, hyper aggression out of ByuN. Oh boy. And again, it's on Trigger to try to get a read on what's going on and prepare. And also not lose the initial units. There's that third Rax, as you mentioned. Again, there's a very common follow-up after a Marauder base opener. But remember, Trigger doesn't even know about the Marauder. Not yet. He shades in. Trigger breaks forward. And Trigger, he does spot the Marauders. He has to get the hell out of here. No, he gets caught. Yeah, Trigger, he gets caught out. And the Adept will fall. Yeah, there's no escaping this. Adept goes down. Nice pick off here by ByuN. ByuN has momentum. And Trigger fails the scout. That's the scary thing here. Trigger doesn't know. It is not uncommon for ByuN to go for a fast OTC, so it's not a sure thing that ByuN is being hyper aggressive here. It's not a sure thing. As with that, Stim is on the way. Stim, Combat Shields, Mass Fire, Marine Marauder. And Trigger is playing safe, thankfully. He's going into 3-gate. So 3-gate blink out of Trigger. I don't believe he's throwing down a Robo yet. So we'll see if Trigger plays a little bit safer from here. It goes to the Robo into Immortal Production or into that Prism. It's 3-gate blink into the third. No Robo. So a little bit more on the greedy side of things here from Trigger. Does claim the third. So again, more on the greedy side. Hallucination should confirm what's going on, and we'll see if Trigger can hold on here. As there we go, Hallucination does confirm the Raxes and the ByuN. Sees everything. Now Trigger knows, but just because he knows doesn't mean he can stop it. We need Warpins. Sentries, Force Fields, more Stalkers. Here comes ByuN. Here comes the army. Oh boy. Now remember, there's not an all-in, but it is a very aggressive timing, and the goal for ByuN is economic damage. The goal for ByuN is to break through the main army and get into the economy. We'll see if he can. Already getting one, getting two Stalkers. Oof, two Stalkers going down. Can he get three? He can. Three. There's no blink. No shot. There's no blink. He gets 3, 4 Stalkers. Takes out the Sentry as well. Ay. This does hit pre-blink. And ByuN, he may not have gotten into the economy, but he still trades very well. And he trades well, and he's still rallying across. ByuN has momentum. There's only 5 Stalkers. Trigger's got to be careful. These Stalkers have potential, and they can at least slow down the army or even force some stims. He's face checking. No, he face checks. Oh my god. Yeah, but he does give chase. Catches out one of the Stalkers, and better pick up here by ByuN. Better pick up. And he'll get a second? Shouldn't. Yeah, there we go. Does not get a second Stalker. But ByuN takes over the center of the map. Behind this building was upgrades. Medevacs are on the way, so now we can stim more freely. And Medevacs are coming. And ByuN has map control. And behind this, we can see Trigger going for the Bay into delayed charge, into earlier Colossus. The earlier Colossus will help definitely, but I believe there's going to be a window in time where ByuN can hit before the first Colossus spawns in. And that's a big window of vulnerability. Trigger, he sees the third CCL location, he spots the main army, and can Trigger stop it? He's just lost so much already. The issue here when it comes to these early blink builds is that you have to preserve your Stalkers over time and build them up over time, but that did not happen. Trigger, he let out too many Stalkers. Now here comes the main army. I believe there is 1 Sentry, but we just saw the hallucinations, so there's 2 Sentries. There's a couple of Force Fields. He stems in. It does him in. Takes out the Sentry. His ults are going down as well. Battery cannot keep up. Not against as many Marines as we're breaking on through here. Yeah, Stalkers are going down. Sentries as well. Depowers everything. The Untosis Pylon. No. Depowers the Robo. No Colossus. And with that, I believe ByuN has done it. Yeah, I believe ByuN has done it. Overwhelms the army. Takes on both reinforcing pylons. And with that, this is critical damage. 17 probe kills. There's 3 Stalkers remaining. And Trigger, he might barely survive here. He might barely hang on. But he's sustained too many losses. As we mentioned, like the ball started rolling in favor of ByuN long ago when it came to the first 3-rack stim timing. When he traded well against the Stalkers, I mean, that was on Trigger. The onus was on him to somehow get some counter damage done and wasn't able to do so. With that, ByuN is snowballing out of control. He's rushing across the map. Robo's still depowered, still no Colossus. As you mentioned, this is breaking Trigger before the Colossus is even out. Oh my god, the tank shots. Crazy. Yeah, second tank has arrived. ByuN getting more ground, getting us over the final pylon here. Once again, depowering the Robo, ensuring there is never going to be a Colossus. Not in this game. Yeah, desperation here by Trigger. Dives on the first tank. Getting on top of the second. Both tanks will go down. Shout out to all the Zealots. Trigger, he's holding. He's holding on. Oof, but ByuN has a third. His third base is up, fully operational. ByuN is still in the driver's seat. Now, how do you recover here from Trigger? Oh, things looking bleak, don't get me wrong. Things looking very, very bleak here, but War Prism harass, Zealot run by Zealot counterattacks, getting to mineral lines, forcing back the Terran army. There are some niche ways here to recover in this game, but the onus is on Trigger to be active. And as you can see here, he's setting up for the Zealot run by. As I mentioned, moves like this are necessary to have a chance at recovering in this game. He's heavily reliant on these run bys, on these counterattacks. Oh, Sensor Tower does finish. ByuN will have extra seconds to respond. Army does dive in. Zealots are coming from behind. They get on top of the first tank. Oh, the army's in position. Yeah, ByuN has reinforcements. Deflects the Zealots. And as things stand, ByuN is going to be the first to max out. Which is terrifying. Likewise, Trigger, he still doesn't have a fourth base. It's so incredibly delayed. The fourth base is on the way for Trigger at the same time that ByuN is getting a fourth as well. And it just does not bode well. There's the scan. ByuN, he also doesn't believe it. Like, he's checking for a fourth. He's like, oh, okay, you don't have one. Thank God. Not like this. Not like this. As Trigger does pounce on the army, does catch one of the tanks on siege, not bad. Does catch one. We gotta keep going. This is Trigger's moment. He's gotta keep pushing as he does catch the army on siege. Keep traveling forward from here. He cannot turn around. Oof, but he doesn't have enough to buffer. He needs more zealots, he needs more reinforcements. Trigger, he does take a good fight. He was able to catch and reset the tank counts, so it was a very nice engage there by Trigger. But the reality is he has to do something about the economy. Shelling away at the gas geyser, it is something. Does try to shell away, but last ByuN still maintains his own bases, his own economy. Fort CC is now being flown over on location. And as I mentioned before, as things stand, ByuN is going to be the first to max. And this time with Ghosts and making 4 Vikings at a time. Plenty of Vikings, plenty of anti-air. He has the answer to the Mass Colossus, and likewise with all those Ghosts, he'll have EMPs. EMPs, they will be available. Now, this War Prism does have potential. We spoke about this earlier, but again, Trigger, there's a lot of onus on him to get away with a Zealot run by, a Zealot drop, a Warp in. These are ways to recover. Likewise, other ways to do so would be Disruptors, right? If Trigger, if we can get into a second Robo into Mass Disruptor production, then that would also be a way to catch ByuN off guard and take a better fight. May not get spotted. Trigger looking to engage, and the Prism is activated. You can see on the minimap the Prism is moving into the main. Prism moves in. Trying to catch out the army. Does go for the dive. Not bad. Ooh, but the last one, Colossus goes down. He gets one, he gets two. EMP lands as well. Yeah, 2, 3 Colossus do fall. The Grand Army does excel for Trigger. But we'll lose all 3 Colossus. And what happened to the Prism? I believe it went down. I believe the Prism did go down. Trigger, he runs into the planetary. EMP lands. Oof. Brutal EMP. And once again, that was maybe the best fight that Trigger could have hoped for. He was able to once again flank the army and engage and have some good service area on ByuN's forces. Best fight he could have hoped for. Despite that, Trigger still diving in. Working towards getting over those ghosts. Yeah, Ghost is somewhat exposed. Ghost is going to be going down, but now there are no more Zealots. No, yeah, no more Zealots, no more Charge Lots. We can give chase. And yeah, that's going to be all we had left. So Trigger, he'll lose the entire main army here. That's all he had remaining. Again, Trigger, he has no bank. He has no resources. Critical losses there for Trigger to lose all the Stalkers and Colossus. And ByuN is being distracted. He's at least being distracted. Once again, does get into the Colossus. Plenty of Vikings. Now Liberation has arrived. He's got the Freedom. The Freedom is here. Yeah, ByuN, he sets up. Stimming on forward. And with that, ByuN, he will make it through. GG gets called. And ByuN, he will advance on into the round of 8. GG. Whew. The trumpets by GG. GG will play to ByuN. He will advance on. Again, hyper aggression out of ByuN in both game 1 and game 2. Winding it back a little bit here. Remember, ByuN, he was able to gain the lead early on in both games. Game 1, ByuN did open up with double Hellion Marine drop, and his 3 Hellions made it into the main base, and he killed 11 probes. From that moment of Winter Madness, ByuN took a massive lead, and ByuN was in the driver's seat the entire game. Coming in game 2, we saw something different. We saw ByuN go for a Marauder first build into 3 racks into a sim timing, and ByuN, he crippled the army of Trigger. Didn't cripple the economy, but he did reset the Stalker count. He was able to get, what, 4 or 5 Stalker kills, and what that meant was that Trigger, he had to reinforce, spend extra resources on Stalkers, especially when it comes to Trigger's build of choice. You cannot...
All right, well, ByuN, first of all, congratulations.
You cannot afford to lose those Marauders, but we have a winner's interview.
Really good for you, but I want to specifically ask about your first series versus Bunny. You went for the 2 Racks Reaper 2 games in a row.
You did.
Tell me about that. Is that you trying to hide some builds for TBT later on in the day in case you play versus other players? Or do you just think that this is Bunny's weakness? Why did you go for the 2 Racks Reaper twice in a row?
Is the meta, Patty?
일단 변현 선수 8강 진출 축하드리고요.
We'll hear what he has to say. Shout out to Maddox, by the way. Shout out to Maddox. Maddox, he is, of course, our lovely translator for GSL. Shout out to Maddox. Well, I do like the question, though, of asking the rationale of why commit so hard, but it's an interesting question just because, like, 2X Reaper has been the meta for quite some time in TBT, but we'll hear from him.
그걸 좀 저격을 해서 쓰려고 하신 건지 그게 좀 궁금하네요.
일단 제 테란 대 테란전 생각은 전진 사신이 초반에만 걸리지 않으면 저는 그냥 운영 빌드라고 생각하거든요. 정석 빌드라고. 그래서 초반에만 걸리지 않으면은 뭐 운영 가서 이길 수 있다고 생각을 했고, 또 재선이가 왠지 더블을 할 것 같았어요. 더블을 할 것 같아서 했는데 제 생각대로 잘 맞아가지고 제가 생각하는 최상의 시나리오대로 된 것 같아요. 빌드 숨긴 건 아니고 저는 아마 승자전에서 빈독 선수를 만났어도 또 썼을 것 같아요.
Yeah, so first of all, I never meant to hide any builds against other Terrans because I just think that overall Proxy 2Racks is actually one of a standard macro.
Yep, it is.
So, yeah, I think that's one of the standard openers against Terrans in my thoughts. So that's why I just stick to it. But that being said, actually, Bunny, I thought Bunny would go to double CC first because he usually does that, and I tried to target that, and I think it went well because he just fell for it.
Did forfeit in game 1.
Congratulations on your win, ByuN. What are your expectations for this season of GSL, and how far do you think you can go?
이제 8강 진출하신 만큼 앞으로 또 어디까지 좀 진출하실
We'll speak on the questions after this.
궁금하네요.
저는 항상 말하듯이 결승 우승까지는 바라지 않고 전 눈앞에 있는 경기만 항상 눈앞에 있는 경기만 준비하고 있고 오늘 경기 전까지만 해도 오늘 앞에 경기만 이기자라는 생각으로 왔고 또 8강 진출했으니까 앞에 있는 8강만 이기자. 그럼 이렇게 앞에 있는 경기만 이기다 보면은 언제 우승할 수 있지 않겠어요? 그래서 저는 앞에 있는 경기만 보고 그 목표까지는 딱히 생각은 따로 안 하고 있어요.
Yeah, I never look too far. Honestly, I just trying to stick to my game right here, right now. So yeah, that's the initial goal. Just like win this game and win next game. So like win next series, so on and so on. So that being said, now I get to round of 8. I'm just trying to focus myself on getting out of there.
Okay, well, congratulations and best of luck down the road in the GSL.
Interesting. So, yeah, the questions were really weird. I see Kuro in the chat asking if they're Patreon questions. These questions were specialized, especially State's question was specialized towards the game itself. So I would assume this is a State question, just like last time. It was a really weird question to ask, as we mentioned, because he was like, "Yo, why'd you 2x Reaper?" And we're like, I mean, that's the meta right now, and ByuN confirmed. He's like, that's just the meta. It's like a standard opener. It's like, yeah. I think a better question would have probably been maybe, if we really wanted to go into, I think it would have been good to have asked him about TVT period, just because of the group itself. I think it would have been better to ask him maybe a little bit more general about the meta of TVT, and ask him whether, like, what he thinks about the current meta, whether he thinks is even a good thing about the fact that things like 2x Reaper are very normal and very common. And what his thoughts are, especially considering his history with Reapers. I think there could have definitely been a way to tie that question in to be a little bit more personal to ByuN, just because of his history, of course, and have him maybe elaborate a little bit more on TVT as a matchup itself, because it is known to be hyper aggressive at the moment. Has been the case for a couple of years now. The second question was just very general, very general. So that's we mentioned this earlier. Tasteless and State, they're not really interviewers, but hopefully we can, delve in a little bit deeper and actually, take advantage of the fact that we're able to have these moments with these players, and we can hear from their thoughts, and then we can, ask them these questions, hoping we can take better advantage of that in the future. For now, though, we're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have our elimination match. When we come back, we will have our TVT with Cure and Bunny. See you soon. See you soon after the break. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the elimination match. The elimination match here of the 2026 GSL Season 1 Ro12 Group B. We just wrapped up with the winner's match. ByuN, he is the first player to advance on into the next round, into the round of 8 from the round of 12. And now we have our first series here to determine which player is going to be the first to be eliminated. The elimination match is up next. It's going to be a TVT between Cure and ByuN. Oh boy, the TVTs continue here, and will they be as aggressive as we have been experiencing them so far? I would imagine so. We're expecting aggression, we're expecting high-octane matches here, as always, between our Terran players. And do we go for a more 2-rank sweeper? I would imagine so. Oh boy. Here we go, as so far we're having a look at Cure, getting ready, of course, preparing mentally, physically, likewise ByuN as well. Beautiful. Beautiful. So again, our players are setting up. Yeah, players are setting up. It looks like we have our vetoes done. Game 1 is going to be in Tourmaline. Game 2, Winter Madness. Game 3, Ruby Rock. Oh my god. Speak of hyper aggression. Jesus. What were the vetoes? Cure, he vetoed Celestial Enclave. We had Mothership veto from ByuN, two of the larger maps. We had 10,000 feet, then Tidal Citadel, Old Republic, then White Rabbit. We got rid of almost all of the larger maps here. Tourmaline and Ruby Rock, they both favor aggression. It's gonna be a short series, mate. It's gonna we're gonna wrap up real quick. Winter Madness has potential for a longer game, but I mean that's also prime for proxies. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Green Terran for Team Liquid. It is Cure. And top right hand corner, we have the red Terran player. It is ByuN. You gotta be quick with these guys. You gotta be quick. You gotta be fast. And here we go again. We're jumping into this. Looks like we have a bit of a head-to-head record here. Bottom right, we have a Cure with a 10-4 scoreline offline events, and Cure 56-30 on online events as well. Again, Cure is favored for sure. He is favored against ByuN. ByuN has brought Cure down in the past, but Cure is still coming in as a favorite player. Despite that, it's still TVT. Anything can and will happen. Hyper aggression is favored. Despite that, both players go for the Raxes back at home. No proxies. No proxies, no shenanigans. Not this time. Not this time. Today's GSL Speedrun Edition. I mean, it was the same last night. Like last night, it was non-stop cheese, non-stop aggression. It was really fast games, really fast matches. That's just how the meta is at the moment. The meta is just hyper aggression, high octane. This is also why I did want to go into the TLMC retrospective in regards to the current map pool that we have and the trajectory of the meta. But it has been like very, very little like mid to late game. In terms of recent games and just recent matches, which is a bit of a shame, but hopefully we can break that mold. Hopefully we can break that mold in this broadcast at some point. For now, we do have our Rax expands from both players. CC on the high ground for ByuN, CC on the low ground for Cure. So both players are going for the same build, but we do have a bit of a safer variation by ByuN with that high ground expansion. I don't blame him, especially after the ByuN series. Like it makes sense for ByuN to be a little bit on edge. Does make sense. Yeah, so from here we're just getting into our own standard follow-ups. Getting into our follow-ups here. So Rax into Factory. From here we can get into either Reactor Reaper Hellion, we can go into earlier Cyclone production, we can be a little bit more defensive, a little bit more aggressive. Regardless, we'll get into Tourmaline. I should speak about the map itself. Tourmaline is a smaller map of the map pool, shorter rush distance by ground. Tourmaline favors hyper aggression, 100%. So we do expect our players to be very aggressive, at least in the early to mid game, especially when it comes to attempting to take a third expansion. It's going to be quite a challenge for either player to maintain their third bases. Will be a challenge. So now we are opening up. We have additional Hellions amassing here just to maintain our early game aggression, early game map control. Into add-on swaps, into Ravens, everything's looking normal so far. Everything's looking normal. When it comes to mech as a possibility, I mean, mech is viable, don't get me wrong, but neither one of our players are really known to embrace mech too much. Cure has played mech from time to time, especially against players like Maru, for example, but here we should be seeing like Bio Tank in the mid game. For now, Raven follow up into their upgrades into Matrix. Oh, as we're building up to 6, are we building on the wave? No, just 6. So 6 Hellions from both sides. I'm a little bit surprised actually that Cure he has not gone for his own upgrade. We have not started Interference Matrix. Not for Cure. No, there we go. It's a little bit more delayed, but is now on the way. So again, for the most part, we're heading in the same direction. Faster third CC out of Bunny. Very fast third, actually. Hyper greed from our Red Terran. And we'll see how far behind Cure is with his own expansion. So third CC is on the way. Observer does point it out. Here we go. We do have a slightly later third base for Cure. But remember what we mentioned earlier when it comes to Tourmaline, it all comes down to whether or not we can actually saturate that third, whether we can land it and maintain that third base. That's what matters. We spoke about mech. It is mech. God damn it. We just spoke about it. We're like, nah, players don't really want to embrace mech too much. If we do, it's typically Cure. But no, here we go. We have 2 more factories on the way. Bunny is meching it up. There it is, 3 factories. Setting up a battle mech. Meanwhile, add-on swap in towards Stim, in towards a bio tank from Cure. So Cure is embracing bio tank. Meanwhile, mech out of Bunny. We'll see if Bunny can even maintain his third though, as Reaper is shut down, and Cure he will gain map control. Gain map control. Scan reveals everything. He confirms mech. He does see all 3 factories. Big scout here for Cure. Scans the upgrade, confirms either, of course, Macful accelerators or Blue Flame. Cure is aware. And this should prompt Cure to be more active and more aggressive. For now, going for a Reacted Viking. Stim is on the way. Tanks are still amassing here for Cure. Are still amassing. So players are building up. Players are building up their forces. Bunny does maintain his third base, and Cure doesn't fight for it. Oh, I assumed that he would, by the way. I assumed that he would be active, that he would fight for the third, but no. Cure, he's just building his forces back at home, waiting for his upgrades, of course, waiting for Stim, which means we're being very passive here in the early game. Very, very passive game here. So we mentioned earlier that we've yet to really experience any kind of mid-game so far between our players, and that is true, but now we finally do. Now we can finally embrace some mid-game play and head towards a longer game state as well. So there's Macro accelerators. Again, building is with battle mech. Bunny is that means. Cure likewise waiting for Stim, waiting for the rest of his upgrades, and he can start to be active. Now, typically, the way this dynamic works is that Cure, he's going to want to be active, and he's going to want to try to delay the 4th expansion. Contain Bunny on a low base count, maintain his own expansions, of course, and have the greater economy, and stop the Terran. Sorry, stop the mech. So slow down the mech. You don't want to rest on your laurels. You don't want to be passive against a meching army. That's an easy way to get yourself killed. And here comes Cure. Cure is going for his move out. He's going for his move out. We can see Bunny getting ready for a backstab. He's going for the dive. Tanks the position. A couple of Marines as well. But the Hellions, they bust in. They bust into the middle line. SCVs will go down. How many, though? Oh, yeah, SCVs are lining up. Oh my god, they do stack. That's going to be 8 SCV kills. But here comes the main force. Here comes the main army. And I believe the Cure, he should have air control. Yep, he does have the Viking lead. Does have that control. Yep, pulling his way forward. He does save 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks. Oh my god, massive stables. And now he's breaking through. He's breaking on through here. Vikings, they bully back the army. They bully back the Ravens, catching up more Vikings. And again, that air control is insane for Cure. And he breaks in. He breaks into the middle line as well. Just a massive opening here, and Bunny cannot stop this. He cannot stop this. We assumed that we would be embracing the mid game. We don't. We do not embrace that mid game. Nice Hellbat drop on top of the bio. Vikings, they give chase to the drops. Catching up the CC. There's no saving it. The command center will go down. Oof. Yeah, catching at the Medivacs. And again, Bunny, he was just never able to get into his own game. He was still trying to build up on 3 bases. And Cure went straight for the kill. And this also goes into the map itself. We spoke about it. Tourmaline, short rush distance, open natural, open third base, aggression's favored, and Cure was aggressive. So he was favored. Ah. Here's the map that is Tourmaline. With that, Bunny trying to collapse in and going for the final fights. We can land the Vikings, so we should. Oh, as the Ravens, they try to move in. Nice zoning here with the Vikings. Ooh, chased into turrets, but a miscontrol there by Cure. But he's got his liberation. He's got his freedom. Oof. Catching out one of the tanks. Bullying back Bunny. Cure's going for the kill, going for the throat. He's going for the throat. There's still a wall of tanks waiting for him at the natural, but that's what the Liberators are for. That's what they're here for. They siege up. They bully back the army. Tanks are pushing in. Wait, what? Crazy. I think they move in. They're gonna get killed. Yeah, 4 tanks thrown away for free. Crazy decision there. But GG gets called, and Cure, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG, well played. Bunny attempting to slow things down, attempting to build up into mech, but as you mentioned, before he could even build up his own third Cure, he just waited for his upgrades. Very patient play, waiting for stim, combat shields +1, and then went straight for the dive, straight through the center, cutting right past the natural, right past the army into the natural. GG, well played. With that, Cure takes the lead in the series. And can we embrace the mid game? Can we get there? Can we get there at any point in the series in this broadcast? We almost did. Up next, Winter Madness. Winter Madness is a larger map, longer rushes to spike ground, more defendable bases. Technically, if Bunny wanted to turtle, if you wanted to turtle up, then this would be the map to do it on. At the same time, there's a very common map for proxies. I would imagine that Bunny's going to open up double gas. I feel like we have to, right? Double gas opener here for Bunny would make sense, but we'll see. We'll see if he goes for it. Pressure's on. Pressure is on. Bearing in mind, the trigger is waiting for the win of this series in the decider match. He's lying in wait. Let's go. As spawning in the left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the Team Liquid Terran player. It is Cure. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Red Terran. It is Bunny. You gotta be quick, Pappy. They don't give you any time. Feels intros, man. Feels intros. Let's go. Let us go. For now, we have our TVT, and again, Cure has momentum. He has a lead. Welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is a very large map of the map pool, a much more standard map, I should emphasize. Longer rush distance by ground, more secure natural third and fourth base, and we often do see a lot of mid to late game here. At the same time, because the map is larger, we often do see proxies, but this time, no proxy. Rax is at home for both Cure and Bunny. We'll see if either player plays safe. There it is. Double gas. Yeah, ByuN did scar him. Double gas opener out of Bunny. This is a very safe build here by Bunny. It means that if Cure was going for a proxy, Bunny should be secure. Because this means faster factory, faster Hellion, stronger defense out of Bunny. But in this game of chicken, Cure comes out on top because Cure didn't proxy. So Cure is going to have the economic lead, and meanwhile Bunny will have the tech lead. And now the pressure's on Bunny to make something happen, to make some damage done, to get some damage done with that faster factory. He can go into Reactor Reaper Hellion, he can go into early Cyclone, he can go into early tank drop, early tank push, he can go for fast Banshee play into faster starport. Bunny has some tech options, but he's forced to make use of his tech. technically he can one base all in, I suppose. But I typically reserve that for players like Gumiho, players like Ryung, players like Maru. Like, they're the kind of players that are willing to like one base all in a position like this and just be animals. Bunny and Cure less so. Less so. So now, again, we're just building up. We do see Cure with a faster CC on location, on the low grounds. And again, Bunny with a faster factory. Once again, Cure does pick in. Ooh, does kill one SCV, but does he escape with his Reaper? One-way trip. Yeah, one-way trip here. Better trade for Bunny. Takes down the Reaper. It's so risky being active like this, being aggressive early on as a Terran player, and Cure gets punished. He does trade 1-to-1 with the SCVs, but he will lose his Reaper. He will lose map control early on, and Bunny has momentum. Thankfully, the bunker does finish. Cure, he should be safe at his natural at least, but what about the main? And what about the main base? Hellions are on the way. Bunny does zip into the mineral line. Does get a CV. Ooh, and it's going to be his turn to lose his Reapers. Yeah, the Reapers are going to be hunted down. At least gets a full scout, does confirm the 1-1-1. Confirms there's no, say, like, second racks, there's no second factory, no weird shenanigans, no weird build. No faster TC. As this time, I would imagine we should be seeing ByuN out of Bunny. For now, though, again with the earlier tech, leads into earlier Raven play. So first Raven's already on the way here for Bunny. He's building up his Raven. Premier working on Interference Matrix as well, working on that disable. Likewise, so is Cure. We've still yet to experience our next tech, our next production building, but again, it should be Rax's. It should be. Like, I understand we saw the mech last game. Like, oh, faster command set out of Cure. Okay, faster CC. The onus is going to be on Bunny this time to be the aggressor. Unless we get our third base momentarily here. As if I was still building up. Just fanning out of units, getting eyes on any kind of move outs. Eyes are still on Bunny. As he's building up another wave of tanks, another wave of Ravens. Takes out the gas geyser. And still no third CC. Again, Cure, he's going to have the third base so much faster here. And that means faster natural saturation, faster worker production, of course, extra mules. Yeah, big lead for Cure. It's on Bunny to punish. But he needs to punish this. Okay, going for the swap. Getting into Reacted Viking. Viking production's underway. Bunny setting up for his third on location? Or are we setting up for a push? Remember, Bunny, he's up in army. He's got more tanks, he has more Ravens, he has more Marines. The reason why he has all this is because his third base is so late. The RCC just now begins, so Bunny's not going for a 2-base all-in. But he has a large army he's not really doing anything with. At least Cure's coming to him. True. Coming to him.
Ready to plunder.
Scan reveals the production. Bunny's starting to push. And can Bunny catch out Cure? As I mentioned before, Bunny has a larger army to work with. Bunny will win a head-on fight. Who catches who? do pass by each other. Kira getting within range of the gas geyser. Oh, even delaying the CC. Okay. Does side the building worker. Bunny coming in for the flank. Collapsing in from behind. And Kira's gonna lose everything here. Yeah, no shot. He's gonna lose everything. He does try to stand his ground. Tanks will fall. And a massive loss for Cure. We do see Cure going into the middle line, and it will kill some SCVs, but what about the main army? What about the counterattack? Yeah, it's a one-way trip. He'll lose everything. Again, Cure should not have been out here. Remember, he was a greedier player as well. He was a greedier player, a smaller army. He'll lose everything, and that might just be game. that was like, again, Cure, he was being greedy. He had a smaller army. He decided to push. He lost everything. I mean, Cure, what's going on? Kiri has a massive worker lead, but Bunny should counterattack. Send it, Bunny, send it. All the way. Okay, even a couple of boys are being pulled to repair. It's going to be a very difficult hold here for Kira, to the point where there's no shot he holds. Like, no shot. Was Kira just being over-eager, overly aggressive, overconfident even. There's no need to be out there. And Bunny should be able to break through this. There's 2 tanks on the high ground. Armor shot goes off. Massive connection. Oof. We do get our 1 disable. Tanks are moving in, getting within range. It's a messy push here up the ramp. But Bunny will break through. It takes out both tanks. There's 1 tank left. Again, it's not clean here. Bunny trying to get up this ramp. But he knows that he has enough. He knows that he's so close. Liberation has arrived. Boys are being pulled. They had desperation out of Cure. He sends all the boys in and he will lose everything. Again, Cure kind of made his own bed here. And with that, we're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game 3. As down goes everything. 44 dead SCVs. And Bunny, he will tie up the series. Like, there's no recovering from this. Again, it all came down to the push. Like, Cure, he was ahead economically. He did not have to be out there. He didn't have to be aggressive in the way that he was. He didn't have to be out there. And with that, Cure is down to 29 SCVs. 29 workers. Curie does catch it as some reinforcements, getting a couple of Marines, a couple of units here and there. Getting what he can. And are we gonna okay. I mean, Curie does have a standing army on the map and he's sharking around. There's a world where he can surround the force and maybe break out. The issue here though is the economy, right? We have 70 SCVs to 29. Curie does have a 3rd, I suppose, and here we go. Here comes the breakout, comes in from behind, dusts around. Curie cleans up all the tanks. This is nice. Yeah, it's nice. Ah, no. As we're helping a bit of copium here for sure. Bunny threatening a drop. Cure going for his own counterattack. I mean, he's all in. So it's a bit of a Hail Mary play here for Cure. Now, technically, there's a world where if he can get into a good position, if he can go for a massive Dune drop and unload in the main, specifically in the main base, or maybe behind the natural mineral line, then maybe he can set up and take a better fight and cripple the economy and snowball from there. Like, there's a slim chance, very slim. Third CC is denied. Here we go, does siege up behind the mineral line. Again, this is maybe the best position here, but the mass disables, so it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Disabling the Medivacs as well, he cannot lift, cannot save. GG gets called, and Bunny ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Again, this game, I'll be honest, was on Cure. Like, Cure, he was being quite greedy this game, and he was getting away with it. Cure, he was getting away with it. He was able to get a faster third CC, faster saturation, higher worker counts, smaller army. So it was on Cure to be defensive. It was on Cure to be defensive, to be able to get away with his fast third, and to get away with that greater economy. But he was active instead with a smaller force, and he got completely surrounded. He got completely locked down and surrounded and lost everything, and with that, Cure, he lost the army then and there. He lost the game then and there. The game did drag out a little bit longer, of course, but by no means was Bunny in any danger. By no means was he in any real danger. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends on Ruby Rock. Let's go. Let us go. So again, we are getting into that ace match. And again, we'll see if Bunny can keep this momentum going. We'll see if Cure can bring it back. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have Cure for Team Liquid. In the bottom right, we have Bunny, the red Terran. Let's go. Let us go. As we're getting into our ace match, we're getting into game 3 here, and once again we'll keep an eye on our players. So far we've yet to see any proxies, any rack shenanigans here in this series so far. Of course, ByuN did embrace that quite heavily in the previous matchup. We'll see if anyone does delve into that. The answer is no. Okay, no SCVs out on the map, but Raxes are back at home. Now, welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is a very aggressive map of the map pool. Shorter rush distance by ground. We have an open third, an open fourth, an open center of the map as well. So aggression is heavily favored typically, and it's going to be quite difficult for either player to maintain their third bases. It's going to be very, very difficult. So we often do see aggression at the third as we're expanding. And both players are opening up double gas. Interesting. So safer builds by both Cure and Bunny. Double gas openers all around, opening up with faster factories. And from here, we'll see if we have mirrored follow-ups into Reaper Hellion or into Cyclone play. Let's find out. Let us find out. Again, we do still lean towards Cure coming into this matchup just because of how game 2 even progressed as well. It was mainly Cure that was dictating the pace of the game, and Cure that kind of led to his own demise in a sense. But we'll see how our players do differ here. We did see attempted mech in game 1 from Bunny. No, shall we see that again here? But there is always a possibility. If he's willing to do it on Tourmaline, he's willing to do it here on Ruby Rock as well. I'm sure he is willing. Otherwise, we are going to be settling in. We do have our CCs on location for both players. We have our initial Reaper Hellion, and we'll see how hard we commit into additional Reaper Hellion. That's kind of the first big step here in our TVT. Starports abound. Oh, never mind. So Bunny does go for the, instead of going into additional Reaper Hellion, he's going for add-ons into the faster starports. Meanwhile, Cure, he's doubling down with additional Reaper Hellion instead. Reavers pick in, they will delay the starport. Nice pickup, gets one SCV and pulls away. That was a risky maneuver here by Cure, but he does get away. Comes in, will trade 1-to-1. Does trade. But still a better trade for Cure as he was able to kill the SCV and delay the starport. Yeah, the better initial trade here from Cure. Now moving in, rotating over towards the CC. He will not delay though. Yeah, it does finish up just in time. Cure, he was a couple of seconds too late. Late by a couple of seconds. Now with that, the Cyclone is now out. Remember, we had the earlier add-ons out of Bunny. Earlier add-ons, earlier Cyclones, and Bunny holds. But he does hold on. There was potential for Cure, especially if he had arrived a couple of seconds sooner. If he had delayed the CC, different story, but in the end, I do prefer Bunny's position. The Cyclone is more robust. And we have survived the early game. From here, Raven production, tanks as well. We do have Disable on the way for Cure. We should be seeing it for Bunny momentarily as well. Into Interference Matrix. More or less the same direction for both players. Of course, mech is always a possibility, so we have to keep an eye out for that, especially after game 1. Gonna keep an eye out for the follow-up. Basically, the next big power spike here, or the next big moment, deciding factor, do we go for second factory? Do we go for Raxes? Do we go for a faster third CC or second starboard? There it is. Oh, Cure going for the all-in. Do you see what I see? I see a 2-port, 2-base all-in out of Cure. He's going for a second starport. This is a very aggressive build here. The observer will eventually point it out, but the second starport is indicative of extra Vikings. We're going into a heavy Viking follow-up for air control into a Liberator into hyper aggression across the map. Now, this is a more modern variation with the Raven, and because the Vikings are a little bit cheaper, if you recall, in the most recent patch from quite some time ago, technically, you can actually afford a CC with this. So in the past, pre-patch, like 2 years ago, this used to be an all-in. Technically, with this, you can afford a command center, but it's still hyper aggressive. As you can see, we're making 3 Vikings at a time. 3 Vikings at a time. The goal here, oh, we can see Bunny's doing the same thing. Great minds think alike, but it's a later starport. Later Viking production. Cure does have momentum, does have a window in time where he can take advantage of Bunny. Okay. Cure. So again, Cure, we're going for the same build, but Cure is 1 step ahead. He's 1 step ahead. And Cure is already pushing. The goal here is for the Vikings to take control of the skies, to zone away those Ravens, and then to allow to allow Cure to push in. Let's go. Vikings are pushing forward. Cyclone will zone away. Tanks to siege. Tank shots going off on the Hellion. Again, we're still rallying across the map. We're still hyper committed. There's no third CC yet. I spoke earlier how you can expand with this, but so far there's no expansion. Cure has the money for it though. He has 600 minerals. He has the money for it. There it is. CC for Cure. As I mentioned, he's expanding. As I mentioned, ideally we want to zone away those Ravens. Want to zone them back. Volley goes off. Better connection. Raven almost goes down. And Cure even getting within range of the production. He's within range. Nice lock on. Nibbling away at the Viking. Another tank is soon to arrive. They're also getting within range of the production. Starport is under fire, and Bunny's in danger here. He's in trouble. He has to engage, and massive missile goes off, shreds the armor. Does shred the armor. Vikings going down one after the other. We just came to the production. The Starport goes down. Massive pickup. Stim is almost done. 10 seconds away. Vikings they land on the tank. Ooh, this is a risky maneuver there. Yeah, risky maneuver. Stim does finish. Stim does barely finish in time, but I don't see Bunny breaking this. There are just so many tanks here. Ravens, they come in. They're flanking. They get in. 1, 2, 3 disables. Massive disables. Vikings forced to land, and Cure has enough. Yeah, he has enough. Cure, he does hold. He does maintain his position. He shuts down the army, and Cure snowballs out of control. GG gets called, and Cure will claim the series 2-1, advancing on to the decider match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Bunny, he is eliminated from GSL. Bunny is out. Cure is in. I mean, I say he's in. He has another chance. He has a chance at redemption here. He's going up against Trigger in the next round. GG. GG, well played. Whew. As with that, we do see Cure advancing on here. Again, when it came to the build itself, Bunny was 1 step behind. Cure, he was going for the 2-port, 2-base all-in. Very late third CC, but again, the purpose of the second starport is to have a massive Viking lead, to take over the skies, to bully back the army, and to allow for your tanks to get within range of what they want, whether it's tanks or whether it's the production. Once we saw the tanks get within range of the starport, that was almost game then and there. Like, how could Bunny engage with that force? He couldn't. He could not engage. He could not stop the tanks. He could not stop the army. And with that, GG well played. Bunnies out of GSL, and we have one series left tonight. It is going to be the decider match, Trigger versus Cure, after the break. See you soon.
GSL Season 1.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the 2026 GSL Season 1 Ro12 Group B. We just wrapped up with our elimination match, and we have one series left. The decider match. We're here to decide which of these two players will be the final player to make it into the round of 8. We have ByuN making it through first place as he was able to take down Bunny 2-0 and Trigger 2-0, but now we have a rematch. Cure versus Trigger. Trigger did take down Cure 2-0 at the beginning of the broadcast. Trigger, he also took down Cure earlier in the qualifier, and now they face off once again. Trigger, he's beaten him twice so far in the past 2 weeks. Can he do it again, or will Cure get his revenge? Oh boy, it all comes down to this, the final best of 3. Vámonos, baby, vámonos. As our players are ready, of course, and vetoes are about to be revealed. Have our vetoes. Where are we dropping? Where are we dropping in this best of 3? Let's go. Okay, so game 1 is going to be on the Old Republic. Game 2, Winterman, is game 3, 10,000 feet. Interesting. So Cure, he got rid of Celestial, Taito, and White Rabbits. These are maps where it can be a little bit easier for Trigger to maintain a foothold on, so it does make sense. Meanwhile, Trigger, he got rid of Tourmaline, Ruby Rock, which are more aggressive maps, and Mothership as well, which there is that more RNG factor to as well. So again, vetoes do make sense when it comes to how players want to approach this. Trigger, he got rid of the more aggressive maps. Meanwhile, Cure, he got rid of some of the more oppressive maps. And here we go, we're loading into game 1. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Old Republic, we have a Team Liquid, Cure. As the right-hand corner, we have the Canadian prototype of Basilisk, it is Trigger. They just don't want us to introduce the players, papi. They just want to send it. Now, before I get ahead of myself, a big shout out to Onside for sponsoring the event, and a big shout out to Intel as well. Intel and Onside for being the main sponsors, and also a big shout out to Patreon. I say Patreon. A big shout out to the GSL Patreon. If you want to help support this event, and if you want to help fund Season 3 of GSL, you can do so via the Patreon, so you can help support. Currently, Season 1 and Season 2 are fully funded. Season 3 has yet to be confirmed, has yet to be funded, and likewise, we can even have more regular GSL CKs as well, and on a bi-monthly basis. Twice a month we could actually achieve that. So again, help support the GSL via the Patreon. Help support goes a long way. Does go a long way here. Otherwise, we're jumping in. We're jumping in again. We have a rematch now. In the previous series, we did see Cure being hyper aggressive in the first game, and that kind of going against him in a sense and being shut down. Likewise, we saw in game 2, Cure went for one base all-in. In game 2, got scouted, got shut down as well. So basically, Cure, he was being hyper aggressive in game 1 and game 2, and he was punished for that. He was shut down. Trigger showcasing his defensive prowess. We'll see how the second series around, the second go around, it does divert, how it does change, how things have adjusted coming from series to series. First things first, economic opener out of Cure, going Rax Expand, economic start out of our blue Terran player. Meanwhile, Trigger, he does go for a standard opener himself. Everything's looking normal so far, everything's looking as it should. So far, so good. As we are opening up, we are getting to our tech of choice. We have our factory follow-up, so there's no crazy like tech lab first into second racks into 3cc 3 racks, or even into a regular 3 racks. There's no 2-on-1, no shenanigans here by Cure. Likewise, Trigger will soon get into a tech of choice, most likely Twilight Council. Now, when it comes to PvT, it is viable to go Robo first, or Stargate openers as well, or even Twilight Council into charge, but they're usually very niche builds, and they're usually very stylistic to certain players. Trigger isn't really one to divert too much, so we're expecting Blink play every single game. Now, he is one to switch it up though, to go 2-gate, 3-gate, or 4-gate Blink Stalker. Eyes are on Trigger for the gateway count. Eyes are on Trigger. For the time being, though, we're opening up. Adept does poke in. It is going to be chased down. And will deny some mining, but not much more than that. As Blink is now on the way, as we mentioned. Opening up Blink. And there's that second gateway. Eyes are open for a third gateway and a robo. Meanwhile, Cure going to be opening up with a Mind Drop. Okay, a much more tame opener here by Cure. Much more tame, much more standard. The Mind Drop is designed to get scouting information more than anything. It's all about that scouting. Meanwhile, very safe build here by Trigger. He does go for the robo. The robo is in production, so very safe play by our Canadian Protoss. We're not taking any chances. Not this time. And no chances here. Medevac is almost done. Drop is coming. Oh, I was assuming it was going to be a Mine Drop, but no, it's going to be a Mine Marine Drop. Oh, this is much more dedicated here. If you recall, ByuN and Maru did popularize this build, what, a year ago, 2 years ago? The goal here is for the Wood Mine not to connect with probes. Ideally, as the Medevac gets spotted, but ideally the Wood Mine zones away the Gateway Army and Marines, they focus down the workers. But now Adept is being caught. Sorker's going to respond. Oh, Adept is still going to fall, but does pick off one of the Marines, and the drop is denied. So better engage here by Trigger. Sure, Cure, he killed an Adept. He did kill an Adept, but he does not get into the middle line. He does not deal any economic damage, not yet. No damage for the time being. Here we go, Cure does pick up. He does drop towards the main. Okay, we're locking in. We're locking in. Does boost into the main base. Third base is being taken. It's going to be a robo. It's going to be a Bay before charge. So faster Colossus. Wood Mine does burrow. Mine shot goes off, catching up 3 probes. Not bad. Not a bad mine shot, but the Marines will be cleaned up. They do focus on 1 more probe in the process. So 4 probe kills for, what was that, 5 Marines and a Widow Mine. Not a bad trade by Cure. So Cure does that trade Trigger. Likewise, Cure is pushing through the center. He's going to be spotted by the Observer. He is spotted. Trigger moving in position. Oh, we even land the Vikings. Cure, he's being hyper aggressive here. He's rallying across the map. Yeah, he's rallying across more Vikings, more tanks. Hyper aggression by Cure. The 1-2 punch. Trigger doesn't engage ahead of time. Pick away the Marines. Ooh, does get 2 Marines. Does shave away some of the HP on the tank. As Cure rotates over towards the third. Once again, Trigger is here to engage. Picking up another Marine. Battery is now done. The boys are being pulled. Yeah, the boys are being pulled out of the tanks. 1 tank goes down. He gets the tank, gets the Viking. And Trigger holds. Trigger, he does hold on at a cost, so it's going to cost him a lot of probes. That's 5 probes going down, but Trigger does survive. Cleans up the tanks, the Medevac, and the Vikings. That was a heavy loss here for Cure. And Trigger, can he chase down that final tank? Can he chase him down? He's blinking. He's blinking forward. Tank on the high ground. Cure gets home. Cure does get home. Oof. Cure does punish. Catching out a Stalker. Does catch the Stalker. Trigger looking for another way in. The Observer does spot the army. Scan does read the Observer. There's no saving it. Stalker goes down as well. Oof. And the game will continue. Now, from here, Trigger did lose a lot of workers in that defense. He is recovering economically. He should be getting a 4th base. The 4th base is late for Trigger. My assumption is that we have a 3rd CC on the high ground for Cure. I believe that is the case. Yep, it is. So CC on the high ground. Trigger is gaining map control. He's building up the Colossus +1. Extendable Lance. Again, Trigger, he should soon be expanding. Does confirm saturation. Does confirm the SCVs. That is a sign. Trigger is going for a massive gateway explosion first. Before the Nexus. But there it is, Nexus on the left-hand side. Okay. A decently timed 4th base. It could have been earlier, but it felt like Trigger was just playing safe. It looked like he wasn't fully convinced if Cure was going to be expanding or not. So safer play there by Trigger. Safer play. That's behind this Trigger going for a faster Templar Archives. Okay, working towards Storm. Again, Colossus first, then into Archons, then into Storm. Cure is being active once again. I believe Trigger does miss the move out. And do we base trade? Uh-oh. Trigger, he can always recall. He can always recall back home. And we have to move soon. Curie's going to hit first. Yeah, Curie hits first, and Trigger, does he respond or does he commit across the map? He's left idle. Yeah, the army's left idle. There we go. The fourth is gonna fall. Trigger, he actually responds. The Trigger is completely out of position. Ay, ay, ay. Can he catch out the army at least? Can he catch the army? Tanks the siege. Tanks sieged up. Blinks on forward. Gets one of the tanks. Gets two. Yeah, two tanks go down. Cleans up the most of the army. And a better fight here for Trigger, but again, he will lose the expansion. Yeah, the base is lost. Trigger, he needs to be more active. Now, the plus side here is there are no defensive tanks, right? The tank count was reset, so no defensive tanks back at home. Scan does reveal the army. Trigger is pushing, and can Cure hold? Oh, Trigger once again is distracted. Yeah, big distraction. Nice pick up on the full medevac. But Trigger's fourth is, I mean, his fourth was already late to begin with. Now even heavily delayed here. Very late fourth base. Trigger, he's got to commit. He needs to break through. We'll see if he can. As he's pushing into a minefield. Base out the first mine. There's two more mines behind this. Nice control so far by Trigger. Oh, the lift on the Archon. Okay, very nice control. And Trigger's pushing through. He's pushing through. Remember, there's no mines, there's no more tanks. The Colossus, they have to push forward. Yeah, they need to move in at the same time, drop into the main base. Boy's being pulled. And Trigger, he breaks through. He's doing it. He blinks in. Gets one. Gets one of the Vikings. There's what, 4 Vikings left. Likewise going for the CC. A little bit messy here by Trigger. A little bit messy. The drop in the main base is getting ahead. 13 probe kills. Insane damage in the main. And Trigger's doing good damage, but again, he loses an equivalent amount of workers across the map. Does contain Cure. If it wasn't for that one drop across the map, Trigger, he'd be miles ahead. He still is ahead. He's still in a better position. But that one drop was insane. Insane damage by that drop. Still warping in, still reinforcing. Remember, there's no storm, just Archons. And I don't see Trigger breaking the natural. It's going to be difficult. Picks away at the depots. Looking for a way in. He does need to deal with the Viking count. The Viking count is actually quite high. See the Vikings rotating. The boys are being pulled. Ideal for Trigger. Yeah, he's doing it. He is doing it. He breaks that natural. Takes down the depots. With that, getting within range of the CC. And gets into the middle line. 4 CV kills. Not bad. And now we come in. Now we come into the fight. Vikings, they take down one of the Colossus. Archons, they push forward. Vikings going down. There's 3 Vikings left, down to 2. Yeah, down to 2 Vikings. And Colossus, they just shell away at the army. 2 Colossus left. 1 Viking remaining. And soon to be down to 0. Yeah, down to 0 Vikings. Blinks on forward. And Kiriki has been broken. There's nothing left here at the natural. There's nothing left. Trigger, he's doing it. GG gets called, and Trigger takes game number 1. The smile. GG, well played. Trigger, he does take a lead in the series, and again, Trigger, he was in a stronger position. If you recall, Trigger, he was able to break the main army, take map control. I was concerned about that one drop though. If you remember, there was that one drop in the main base that killed 13 probes. It was like 13 or 14 probes went down. That was insane damage. If it wasn't for that, it would have been a much cleaner game out of Trigger. Despite that, he still had enough to punish that third base and to break into the natural. GG well played. A lot of this came down to a lot of the momentum came down to Curie getting caught, if you recall. Remember, Curie, he pushed towards the 4th base. He did kill the 4th, but he lost everything. He lost his tanks, lost most of his army. Yes, he kept 2 medevacs alive in the corner of the map, but upon losing all those tanks and losing that buffer, losing that force, it meant that he had that much less to defend. That's why it was crucial that Trigger counterattacked. I was concerned that Trigger was going to take too long and that he was going to kind of rest on his laurels and maybe be too passive, but no. Thankfully, Trigger, he committed then and there. He broke on through. GG, well played. And with that, Trigger, he does claim the first game, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. And does Trigger close it out here and now? We're going to be loading into Winter Madness. Una más is all he needs. One more game, papi. Bra. I see Kurt in the chat. Yes, yes. GSL does have their Patreon, so you can help support them via the Patreon, papi. You can help support the Korean scene. Support StarCraft. And here we go. Here we go. We are now getting into our next game. Potentially the final game of the series. As spawning in the right-hand corner, he is up against the wall. The Korean Terran, the blue Terran. For Team Liquid, it is Cure. In the top left, we have the Canadian Protoss. It is Trigger. They give us no time, papi. Ay, ay, ay. But here we go again. A Cure, he's up against the wall, down in the series, and one more loss, and he is out of GSL. Meanwhile, Trigger, Honomas, one more is all he needs to make it through into the round of 8. When it comes to the game itself, once again, we had a Cure being hyper-aggressive and punished for that aggression. That has been the name of the game for the entire series, the previous one and this one as well. Cure, we gotta calm down, but at the same time, it does not feel easy getting to a longer macro game in TVP, especially on these larger maps. Welcome to Winter Madness. The SCV does move out across the map. Are we setting up for the eBay block? We haven't seen one yet tonight. The SCV's coming in. We're coming in for the block. For those who are curious, ideally Cure, he wants to force the unnatural natural out of Trigger. He wants to force the third base to be taken on the low ground. So the eBay comes in, and it's going to go unscattered. Ooh, better start for Cure. Now, what he should be doing here is get the eBay up to half HP, half progression, then move the SCV over towards the triangular third and block the third base there as well. Yeah, he's moving out. He does move out, he's blocking the expansion, and he's forcing the low ground third base for Trigger. The unnatural natural, if you will. Yeah, you can see it on the minimap. There he is, he's forced onto the low ground, and now Trigger is very exposed. Trigger, he's exposed to aggression to all ins. Now suddenly Trigger, you can see how far away his natural is to his own main. So a very far away expansion, it's also on the low ground, there's also a wide arc of aggression, of attack. Now this isn't like an auto loss or anything like that, but it is just much more difficult to defend. Now we have seen a lot of Protoss players make the best defense be a good offense and actually be the aggressors and just not allow the Terran player to actually engage and have the Terran player be on the back foot. That's how someone like Hero, for example, does approach this kind of situation. Otherwise, we could see a Stargate opener. The reason why Stargate play can work here is because the Oracle doesn't care about ground terrain. It can very quickly rotate back and forth between your bases. So Stargate responses are common, but no, it's going to be a Twilight Council. Okay, it's going to be a Twilight Council instead, and that means we're going to need some shield batteries. We need a battery in both bases, in both mineral lines. We'll see if Trigger can keep up. Meanwhile, Cure going for his Reacted Marine. Reacted Marine into mine, into early drop. It looks like we might be going for the Marine Widowmine drop that we saw last game. Obviously, we're getting there in a different way, but it does feel to be the case. It does look to be the case here. Stalker does scout the add-on, does scout the Marine production, confirms there's no Reapers and there's no Hellions. So Widowmine is spotted. We can bait at the mine with the Adept. We've got to time it well. Ooh, very nicely timed. Quick on burrow there by Cure. We have a little micro battle. We have our dance. Again, we have that dance. Adept shades in, confirms all the add-ons, confirms the production, even shades into the mineral line. Ooh, and do we get an SCV? Not quite. Yeah, not quite here. Adept goes down. Stalker's at least 9 mining at the natural. Defenses at the natural expansion of Trigger. The unnatural natural, true. Trigger heads back. Heads back, gets one, gets 2 Marines. 3, okay, it's the Trigger. 3 Marine kills, recalls back home. Here comes the mine drop. Show us the mine drop into the natural. Show us. Oh my god. Mine drop comes in, catching out, I believe, a Stalker. 1 Stalker, 1 probe. So not bad connections. Connection's not too bad. 2 more gateways on the way. I believe that is 3-gate blink. 3-gate blink with a Robo. Very safe play here by Trigger. And it looks like once again he wants to fight for map control. Wants to fight for map control. He doesn't want to fight back at home. Not with that brutal defensive setup. Does take a tank shot to the face. Let's be careful. No! Ooh, does overextend. Yeah, it does overextend here. 2 more tank volleys. Ay, ay, ay. Bit of miscontrol there by Trigger. Oh, 4-gate blink. My apologies. He's going into 4 gateways. He might get a tank? No. Yeah, we're overextending. Especially because of the tank shots earlier. This Stalker army was heavily battered, heavily bruised. That was not worth it for Trigger. Trigger, he's starting to fall behind. These are hefty losses. Remember, this early on, we can't afford these losses as a Protoss. You need to maintain your Stalkers. You need to maintain your presence. Would mind drop or will... Oh, get 1 probe. Does get 1 probe at the same time. Trigger, he blinks into the main. He's barely out of range of the tank. Nice pick off. Gets a depot. Takes down a depot. Takes down a reactor. Nice trades. He can try to go further behind the gas geyser. At the same time, 3 probe kills. Oof. Yeah, a bit of a back and forth trade here. I still do favor Cure. Like, Cure is killing more probes, late reaction, 5 probes go down. Trigger's economy is hurting. His economy is hurting here. And things are looking solid for Cure. Just waiting for Stim, waiting for his upgrades, then he can push. And it's going to be a tough hold for Trigger. Not impossible, but it's going to be very tough, especially considering he went 4-gate blink. Oof. That also explains why the expansion was late. There's that 3rd CC. Now, if given time, Trigger, he can... Trigger, with with just being too cavalier. How many free tank shots have we seen here from Cure? The tank boys have been brutal. Meanwhile, at the same time, Trigger, he does drop into the main. I believe he wants to go for the tank. Gets 1. Okay. Nice pickup. 1 tank for a Zealot. Better trade for Trigger. Finally, something going his way. Trigger pulls away, building up his Colossus. But again, this has just been a very shaky game for Trigger. It's been very, very shaky. This has been the strongest start that Cure's had so far against Trigger in all of his games tonight. A very strong start. Wait, Cure's now expanding. This is the moment where Trigger would need a 4th base. But again, Trigger, he's still saturating his 3rd. That's just how behind he is. Trigger's moving out. I don't see him breaking the siege line. Not with what he has right now. He's going for it though. Again, the pressure's on Trigger. He has to do something. Does what the expansion. Tempted to dive. Oof. Yeah, massive tank bullies. The army is punished. As I mentioned, Trigger, he cannot touch this army. He cannot push in, not like this. He needs more Zealots. He needs more charge lots. Trigger, he supply block. No, that was not the time. Oh, brutal supply block. He knows when he tried to warp in. Yeah, 2 pylons on the way. Trigger, he's banking resources. He commits. I mean, again, he has to. Boys are being pulled. Can he get some of the tanks? He blinks in. He gets 1. He gets 1 tank. And can he get 2? He barely can get the 2nd tank as well. Oh my god. It's a brutal trade. Yeah, he does not break through. All 3 Colossus go down. Did not break the siege line. And Cure holds. Curie does hold on. Now, it did cost him the mineral line. 17 SCVs. 17 SCVs went down. This is a very, very messy game state. Trigger, he committed everything he had there. He cripples the economy somewhat, but he also loses the entire army. I still favor Cure. Like, Cure, sure, he lost workers, but he has mules. Like, mules, they make up for that. He's on an even base count, so Curie still has the better economy. And he's building up the larger army as well. He's building up the larger army. Trigger is in trouble. Here comes Cure. Trigger, I believe he has 1 Colossus to defend. No, sorry, he's got 2. He's got 2 Colossus. Now, Trigger, if he, that one Raven's being so annoying this game. He's got 11 kills. 11 kills on the Raven. That's insane. That's all pro kills, by the way. Purely economic damage. Trigger, the best they can hope for is to engage the army as it moves out. I still don't really like the idea of him pushing into the siege line or into the defensive position. He's going for it, though. Okay, so I'll say peel off into the mineral line, not bad. Boy's being pulled away. Nice economic damage. I believe he's forced to fight. The Colossus. No, he's gonna lose one. One Colossus goes down. The other Colossus as well. Massive losses here for Trigger. Losing both Colossus at the start of the fight. And now we can just stim in. Yeah, now we can just stim and win. Cure, he has. I mean, now we've triggered Cure. Cure can just counterattack. Trigger, he has to get the hell out of here. Nice run by it. SCVs are going down. That's nice and all, but it comes down to the main force. It comes down to the main army. Sure, Cure, he's lost a bunch of SCVs, but it may not matter. Because here comes Cure. As he moves in, gets into the robo. Prism goes down. No juggling. The Colossus is about to pop, but we have Vikings. He still has the Vikings. He kites away. Yeah, kites back. There we go. Colossus pops out for 1 second. Goes out instantly, and with that, we're going to the ace match. Curie snowballs out of control. He breaks the main army. Stims on in. And with that, the river will fall. The natural base as well. And there's no recovering from this. Yeah, desperation out of Trigger. He pulls the boys into the ByuN army. 19 pro kills. GG gets called, and Cure ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Curie does tie the series. We're going all the way to game number 3. Winding it back here. To be honest, Trigger, he was playing from behind from almost the beginning. Straight up. Trigger, he was forced into a really awkward position when he was forced to take the unnatural natural, and that was fine. Like, it's a difficult position to be in, but that doesn't put you straight up behind. What was difficult, though, was that Trigger, he went for the 4-gate follow-up. He went for the 4-gate follow-up, and we were pointing it out at the time, but in the aftermath of Trigger forced to take that base and trying to be aggressive and trying to contain Cure, he was being very, very wasteful with his army. He was losing so many Stalkers. Stalker after Stalker after Stalker. Then we had the Mind Job, then we had the Raven Harass. Trigger, who was losing so many workers at home, and he was bleeding out Stalkers as he was trying to be efficient across the map. He was just falling apart. He was just falling apart due to the 4-gate blink, late 3rd base, non-existent 4th base, a worse economy. Trigger, he was just behind in every aspect. It led into that final big push at the 3rd location. It's all that Trigger could do, and he could not break Cure. GG. GG, well played. So just a really rough start for Trigger from the beginning, and that leads us into the ace match. We'll see if Trigger can bring it back. We'll see if Cure can close it out. As spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. It is Cure for Team Liquid. Oh, hello. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have a Trigger from Canada for Basilisk. Let's go. Let us go. As this time Trigger moves out immediately with the probe, does move out, will scout, will confirm whether or not there's anything moving out across the map, ensuring there's no proxy, ensuring there's no eBay block. And again, welcome to 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is a smaller map of the map pool, smaller map, very short rush distance by ground, shortest rush distance even. So aggression can be favored. I think that's maybe the wrong way of putting it. I would say that momentum is favored, not aggression. What I mean by that is the bases, the main, natural, third, and fourth are all very centralized. The bases are very close together. It's very easy to rotate and defend your 4 bases. But if you take a bad fight, then the counterattack is insanely fast. Very, very fast counterattack. So pushes are even more favored here on 10,000 feet. And if a player gains momentum, if they get a lead, then they can just run away with it. You can run away with it. As Trigger does claim his natural expansion, a much more standard and much more comfortable start here by Trigger. True. Much more comfortable. Cure did go double gas opener, faster factory, delayed TC out of Cure. More tech heavy starts. With this, we can go into Reaper Hellion, we can go into early Cyclones, committed tank push, or even Banshee play. Show us what you got. Show us what you got. So now we are making a second Reaper. So additional Reapers, no faster add-on. We are committing initially into Reaper Hellion, and the goal here should be economic damage. It's about scouting, it's about getting into a mineral line and picking up as many probes as possible. This is a bold build here on 10,000 feet, just because the main base is a little bit less accessible than on other maps. So bold move. Safety battery in the main. Bearing in mind that Trigger, he did scout the initial tech opener. There it is, Reapers into the main base as well. Double Reaper cliff, and the army's in position, and the army will punish. Ooh. And we spoke about this is why the main base is less accessible, because it's a double Reaper cliff into the main, so you have to commit harder, and you are punished that much more. So far the Reaper Hellion is not worth of a cure. Not worth it. Hallucination gets eyes on the follow-up starport, on the Widowmine production. To be fair, I mean, could be additional Hellions. Trigger has yet to confirm. As Reaper Hellion rotates, attempts to dive. No damage. He gets locked in. No, he gets locked in. Yeah, one Reaper goes down, losing one, losing 2 Reapers even. Yeah, both Reapers do fall. That is 3 Reapers for 0 damage. Oof. Yeah, Cure having a very shaky start, but we mentioned it again, like Reaper Hellion does not work well on 10,000 feet. The map is working against Cure and working for Trigger. Hellions are deflected. And so far, stronger start for Trigger. Stronger start. As the mine drop is on the way, there's still potential here for Cure to recover. We need this mine drop to get damage done. It's going to be difficult. Typically, mine drops are designed to scout more than anything. They're designed to scout. So we have a mine drop coming in. Trigger, he does pull the boys in, does pull them away, thankfully. And does get 1. Yeah, 1 probe and 1 Stalker go down. Not a bad trade. At the same time, Reaper Hellion into the natural. Okay. Probes are lining up. Messy defense here by Trigger. Very messy. 3 probe kills. Denied mining time. The Trigger does hold. That was messy, but it was the defense. Likewise, behind this, we have the faster bait, delayed charge. Earlier Colossus here by Trigger. As he's is being active. Once again, Trigger, he should not move into this army. Likewise, Hellions once again going for the... Oh, the probes are lining up. Yeah, probes they line up. 2 probes go down. 3 probe kills even. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, 3 probes. Curious making up for the early game. He's making up for it. Trigger, we need to tighten things up. As he does find a way into the main, he can maybe try to blink in and deny the upgrade. With high ground vision. There's a ByuN army in position. Yeah. No way in. There's no way in. Cure claiming his 3rd. And Trigger, he needs to think about a 4th base soon. It does go double forge. Okay, double forge, double upgrades. Forge, double upgrades. Likewise, we do have more Colossus amassing here for Trigger. And so far the game is settling down. I would say that in the previous game it was very clear that Trigger was at a deficit for like the entire game, but here it's still very close. It's still very close, still very clutch. We've had good moments for both players. I would say that Cure has a slight edge thanks to all the economic damage. That is true. He does have a slight edge, but Trigger for the most part he's holding his own. He's claiming his 4th at a decent time. Taking up into Archons, building up his Colossus, and we're building up in towards a longer game state. Now, I mentioned something earlier here, but specifically on 10,000 feet, the natural 3rd and 4th base are very close, so the idea of Cure turtling up into a 4th and maxing out is very real here on this map. It's very real, and that may just be the plan. It's for Cure to turtle. Gateway is going to be thrown down. Trigger just throwing down a reinforcement point. Storm is on the way. That will help. And Trigger should not push into this. I mean, you can see here, right? We have a siege line of tanks, Liberators, SimCity, Bio. It would be a mistake to try to force our way up that ramp. What Trigger needs to do is wait for Cure to expand. Just wait for Cure to claim to try to take a 4th base. And that's when Cure will spread himself further thin. Not too much, bearing in mind that as we were trying to emphasize, this map, the bases are really close together, so it's difficult to really capitalize on a player expanding. But that's going to be your best chance. As it's happening, Trigger, he has to take more bases. More bases, more expansions, setting up for the late game. Hey, for the first time tonight, we're actually embracing the mid game and heading towards the late game situation, late game setup. We're on the way. Here comes the 4th. Trigger's getting a 5th. Now, as this 4th base is being taken, now we can see Trigger rotating over. But once again, I don't think there's much of an opening here. Like, once again, the 4th and 3rd are right next to each other. Trigger has plenty of High Templar. At the same time, we have some EMPs. Comes down to the spellcasters. Who lands first? The Storm of the EMP. Ghost coming in. EMP does land. Ooh, does connect with the High Templar. Prism gets shut down in the main. Ay, ay, ay. And Trigger, the aggression is denied. The aggression is denied. Storm does try to zone. Massive armor shed here on the main force. On the Zealots on the Gateway army. Trigger, he rotates towards the south side. But again, Cure is max. And as we mentioned, specifically on 10,000 feet, breaking a 4-basing player, it's so difficult. As a result of that, oh, nice EMP, very nice EMPs. Yeah, Trigger not paying attention. Trigger gets punished. But I was going to say, though, as a result of this, we should be seeing Trigger take more bases. Trigger, he should be taking every base on the map right now. He commits in. Okay. Oof. Tries to commit in. Gets the Liberator. Again, he cannot break this position. Not like this. Nice Aileron by though. Coming in from behind. Storm does zone away. Very nice Storm. Zelsa get on top of the tank. Trigger pulls away. Another nice EMP. Oh, and Trigger, he has no shields. He has no shields. He's getting caught out. He's getting surrounded. Trigger, he has to get out of here. Yeah, he needs to get out. He's getting surrounded. Getting caught out. Trigger, he needs to leave. At the same time, we get a couple of SCV kills. Nothing major, though. Zelsa get 4 CVs, and Trigger, he does plummet in supply. Plummets in supply. I would want to see Trigger take both center expansions. He's getting one. He's getting one center base. It would behoove him to get the other, just to make sure that he's able to take resources away from Cure. I believe we saw a fleet beacon. Initially, that should just be for the mothership, but we can start thinking about Tempest a little bit later on. Shadow Stride. Cure is now claiming a 5th. Oh, Raven's in position. A massive EMP on the High Templar. No storms. Yeah, no storms. We need disruptors. High Templar, their use is come and gone. Massive Nova. Does connect, but only one. Yeah, only one Nova. Nice flanking Colossus. Catching out some of the ghosts. And not a bad trade for Trigger, but again, he still cannot maintain these losses yet. He needs to reinforce. He needs more of an army. He needs more disruptors. We need more disruptors. As he's making 2 disruptors at a time. Stalkers, they push in towards the 3rd. Nova does graze the army. Ghosts are getting low. Stalkers, they blink in. Oh. Yeah, bold blink. Takes down the Liberator. Curry has to reposition. At the same time, the 5th base is now being taken. Trigger, he cannot let that happen. He can't let the 5th base just get up and running. Yeah, Nova does graze the army. Where are the Vikings, by the way? Yeah, Vikings, there we go. They're rotating over. Does need those Vikings. Army does stim in. Some panic Novas. Yeah, wasted Nova there from Trigger. Another Nova goes off, does not quite connect, and Cure, he breaks on through. He breaks on through, collapsing on the army. Colossus go down, Disruptor as well. And Cure has done it. Cure, he has done it. He breaks the main force. He can now give chase, and Trigger, he has nothing left. Trigger. Nothing left here. Again, we saw some questionable engagements from Trigger, but I don't blame him. It's just so difficult to break a turtling Terran on 10,000 feet. So difficult. And Trigger, he tried, and he failed. Tried, and he failed to break the turtling Terran. Cure, he now breaks out across the map, pushing out towards the center base. For now, just settling on the army. Catching out more Zealots, more Stalkers. Happy to trade. And Trigger, he needs more time. He needs more disruptors. We get a decent connection. Connection's decent. We have one more Nova. Mainly zoning away. And Curry just Nova got control, pushing into the bases here. The Nexus is going to fall. This is a world where maybe if Trigger can land these Novas, then maybe he can take the fight. But he needs those Novas to connect. Not good enough. Yeah, we get some okay connections, but still not good enough. Another disruptor has arrived. Trigger, he's holding his own. He's built up his army. He still has potential with those Novas. He has potential at least. As Novas, they do connect. Not bad, the Novas. They're popping up. Colossus goes down. Mothership has now arrived. Trigger, he's still holding his own. He didn't really lose many workers. He's still on 86. 86 probes, still plenty of bases. Maintain the fringe expansions. That wasn't the mothership, was it? That was. I think that was the war prison. Yeah. As Trigger's moving in. Once again, nice Nova. Oh my god, the Novas! I want to say the past 5 or 6 Novas have been connecting, and now Mothership recalls into the main. Ah, Curie's ready. Yeah, Curie's ready for it. Panic Cloak. Catching out some straight Liberators though. Better trade here by Trigger. Very nice trade. Catching out the Liberators. Zoning back the army. Trigger, he has been fighting well as of late. Diving on Liberators, never goes off. Forcing splits. Oh my god, massive connections. And Trigger his Novas. They're not missing. They do not miss. Oh, as Vikings, they attempt to harass. Okay, yeah. They were hunting down the Mothership. Mothership did get away. Trigger, you calm down. Yeah, some Panic Novas towards the end. Finally, some of them do not connect. Panic Novas out of Trigger. Sorkers are coming for the counterattack. They will get the tank, just barely. A little bit messy, though. Messy trade. Mothership joins the main army. Cannot cloak. Bases are being revealed. And Trigger, he rotates towards the entrance of the third. Okay. Rotates to the right hand side. Curie, he will deny center left. No recall. And no recall available. Ooh, and that's a massive pickup here. Yeah, one of the most important mining bases for Trigger. He's going to lose the mineral line. 13 probes. Trigger, he wants to at least punish the army. Wants to try. But he cannot. And nice reinforcements, nice interception. Curie, he pulls out. As Trigger, he does go for the recall. He gets in. Oh no, it's going to be close. Oh my god, he barely finishes the recall. He busts into the main. Yeah, the main army pulls away. Meanwhile, the massive push into the main base came with the production. Pushing further in. And can he land these Novas? Can he land them? SimCity working against Cure. Nova goes off. First one zones. Nice lift. Oof. Yeah, disruptors are going down, and so far this dive into the main base wasn't worth it. Yeah, it was not worth it. It's going to cost him every disruptor. Oof. Trigger, he plummets the supply. It was a cool move going for the recall, but he got no damage done. He delayed some of the production, that's it. It just was not worth it. He didn't have enough with the recall. Yeah, did not have enough. Trigger, he plummets in supply. He needs to rebuild, needs to remax. Trigger, he has the money, he has the bank. And Trigger counterattacks. Ah, this is a bit of a desperation move. It's desperate. Storm does help. Colossus is getting caught out. And the army should break into the natural. Yeah, just came with the production at the same time. Trigger, he commits in as well. Bearing in mind that when it comes to a main fight, Cure is favored. Cure, he has a stronger main army. As he does came with the production, depowers the Robo. But Trigger, he's banking High Templar. True. He's banking up Templar. I'd like to see Trigger push into the natural, not the third. There we go. Rotates over. Rotates that natural, blinks in, catches that one of the Liberators. He just keep going. Keep going. He could just keep pushing. Pulls away, settles to the mineral line, getting 4 more CVs. And again, that counterattack, it was worth it. It was well worth it here. As Cure didn't keep pushing. Cure turned around. He turned back around. We're getting very messy here. Very messy. Liberty count is still quite high. Only 1 disruptor for Trigger. That's important to take note of. Just 1 disruptor. Cure is keeping up with the rotation. DT's dive into the main. Not bad. Yeah, going for Archons. Unable to blink away. Trigger commits to the dive. He cannot break through though. Not until it's so many freedom zones. There's too much liberation. And Trigger, he's broke. Trigger, he's running out of money. He's got a low probe count. And he has no gas. He has minerals, but no gas. Again, every time the Trigger rotates, Cure, he's there. He's there to stop him. He's there to stop the rotation. We do have a Zealot run by, but I believe there's a planetary in position. Nice blink. Decent catch. Getting on top of the ghost. Oh, massive EMPs. No more storm. Yeah, no more storm. Again, we're too heavily reliant on High Templar here. There are just so many ghosts for that. Too many ghosts. And Nova's going off teasing connection, but Trigger, he'll lose everything. He's cornered. He's cornered. There's no way out of this. He tries to blink away. He'll bleed out the High Templar, the Colossus, the Disruptors. He'll deny the CC, but Trigger, he has no money. As we mentioned earlier, he's just broke. He's out of money. And with that, Cure will get his revenge. Cure, he may have lost in the qualifier. He may have lost earlier in this tournament, but no, Cure, he will fight back and he will make it through into the round of 8. Cure, he was favored to make it through, but Trigger, he fought hard. He made him work for it. Made him work for it here. Even now, Zealot counterattack. Guess until the planetary. We're still getting rowdy. But this is the final army here. Like Trigger, he has no resources. He cannot warp in. He just could not maintain his bases, could not maintain the economy. He struggled to break the turtling Terran. There were a couple of nice moments for him. If you remember, there was that period in time where he was landing like 6 or 7 Novas at once. Or I say at once, like over time, consecutively. Relying on High Templar towards the end was difficult. I mean, I think one of the reasons was because one Robo went down. So limited Robo production towards the end. But High Templar, they just get dominated by the Ghost. They get dominated. And with that, the center expansion falls. We're stepping in. Colossus goes down. I think these are the final moments here. Trigger, he fought so hard and so well making it here to the ace match. He did well for himself. But with that, the Nexus falls. This is the final army. 1 Colossus, 3 Stalkers, all gets cleaned up. GG gets called, and Cure, he will claim the series 2-1, advancing on to the GSL round of 8. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Cure, he'll make it through. My condolences to Trigger. Again, Trigger, he had such a difficult time breaking that turtling Terran. He threw away so much supply attempting to do so. I would say that he had a bit of a harder time, or he had a bit of a hard time when it came to teching and when it came to expanding and taking more bases and taking over control of the map. I feel like patience was a little bit more necessary there. Trigger, he kept trying to force the issue, but it was just not worth it. Time and time again, Trigger bleeding out Colossus, bleeding out High Templar, bleeding out his Stalkers, and could not break that defensive play. I mean, hey, that's the power of 10,000 feet. Power of 10,000 feet. Instead of that, we could have seen Trigger try to take more expansions and take up instead, but I believe we have a winner's interview. True.
Well, Kier, congratulations on your victory, advancing 2nd place in this group. Now, I want to ask you about mostly your games versus Trigger. In the first series versus Trigger, you played really aggressive styles. You went for proxy racks, game 1, proxy base, game 2. Trigger was able to defend. And then in the 2nd series you played, you were able to find a lot more success in macro styles. Do you think defense is just better in TVP right now? Or is that where your strength is? Tell me about that.
일단 김덕 선수 승리 축하드리고요. 일단 트리거 선수와의 대결.
I think we got to a better question towards the end.
첫 번째 시리즈에서는 사실 좀 공격적으로 운영을 하셨는데 계속 전진 빌드를 쓰셨는데 결국에는 막히고 좀 경기를 내줬지만 두 번째 시리즈 와서는 그냥 운영으로 좀 이렇게 승부를 보시면서 결국에는 승리를 해내셨어요. 아무래도 지금 태프전에 있어서 좀 더 공격보다는 수비가 좀 더 낫다고 생각을 하시는지 좀 여러 가지 생각을 좀 듣고 싶네요.
저는 그래도 주도권 가지고 좀 심리전 하면서 하는 게 좋다고 생각을 하는데 이번에 트리거 선수랑 할 때 저도 실수도 좀 많았고 그리고 트리거 선수가 좀 변칙적으로
I thought the question was a little bit disingenuous, but
이상한 빌드 하면 또
We hear.
좀 변칙적으로 해서 변수가 생길 것 같아서 평소에 하던 운영을 하는 게 낫겠다 싶어서 운영을 했는데 그래도 나쁘지 않게 경기력이 나왔던 것 같아서 다행인 것 같아요.
Initially, TVP, I think taking the initiative itself is actually the more important thing. So
Yeah.
that being said, I try to make myself establishing some initiative towards Trigger, but I made a lot of mistakes in the process. So I try to I try myself trying to dial down a bit, trying to make less mistakes for myself and just go back to macro because he's also doing the stuff that I didn't really expect. So yeah, I think that went well for me. And also Trigger played a lot of good builds and good plays. So yeah, that may be a little difficult there.
Congratulations on your win. Kira, how far do you think you're going to go in this season of GSL?
그래도 이제
If you noticed,
팬 올라오시긴 했지만 이제 8강
I think Tasers, he's asked like the same question for every player. He's like, how far do you think you're gonna go? Like, how well do you think you're gonna perform? Like, every time, same
사실은
question.
제가 생각해도 최근 폼이 그렇게 좋은 것 같진 않아서 최대한 끌어올려서 준비를 하면 그래도 8강만 진출하면 또 좀 오랜 시간 준비를 하면 또 좋은 경기력을 보여드릴 수 있다고 생각을 해서 일단 8강만 진출하는 걸 목표로 하고 있어요. 4강만 진출하는 거.
Yeah, lately I feel my form is not that great. So that being said, I'm trying to make myself getting out of the round of 8. So yeah, if I can make through there, then I think I can go further.
Well, congratulations on your wins today, and best of luck in the future.
GG, well played. I'm not very fond of these more general questions just because so winding it back a little bit meta here. If you notice, a lot of the players when it comes to their quotes, like ByuN and Cure both specifically, they were both downplaying themselves and talking about how they're not in the best shape. So asking them about like how well they think they're going to perform and how far they're going to go, I mean, you already know the answer because they said so in their quotes, how they were not really feeling as informed, they're not really feeling too confident. So I feel like there are better ways to maybe approach a question about the next round in GSL without asking specifically about like how far they think they'll go. I think a better question is like, what do they think about the players in the next round, right? Like who they're going to be playing against. Remember, like we have finalized groups, by the way. Like here it is, right? We have these finalized groups. I would say a better thing to ask, which is still general, but I would say a better question would be asking about like, hey, how do you feel about your group now that you're going to be locked in a group with Maru, Rogue, and Classic? We have these finalized groups, so like asking a little bit more about that, more so than like how far he thinks he's going to go or his current state of play, or because we kind of already know that, right? Like we're not really getting any new information regarding that kind of question. And you can help things open up a little bit when it comes to like him talking about specific players. Then you can maybe like latch onto something that he says there and push things further. Likewise, the first question was kind of weird, talking about like, oh, like, you know, you were really aggressive initially and you had more success with macro play. I mean, that's disingenuous just because of the maps themselves, right? We spoke about it. 10,000 feet specifically does favor more turtle heavy play. So the fact that we landed on 10,000 feet lends towards that kind of style. But I do actually really like the general question, which wasn't really answered, about like what he prefers in overall TVP, and he kind of answered that. He said that he felt like initiative is really important, and then he kind of moved on from there. But regardless, GG well played. Shout out to both Cure, shout out to ByuN for making it through into the next round. And as we just saw, we have confirmed groups for the round of 8. Group A and Group B, that's going to be taking place next week, of course. At same time, same place, same channel. We will be there. And if you want to help support the GSL, you can do so via the Patreon. Patreon.com/GSL is the way to help support the tournament. You can also do so via Soup. There are 2 ways to promote or to support, via Soup and via Patreon. Both ways to support StarCraft and support the GSL, and to allow for a 3rd season of GSL to occur this year. Bearing in mind that so far we have Season 1 and Season 2 funded. Season 3 is still a little bit more up in the air. We're hoping to fund that and hoping to have more StarCraft and more GSL. As you can see here, $6,000 a month will allow for a second GSL CK a month. $10,000 a month, I'll zoom in a little bit. $10,000 a month is for GSL Season 3 to be confirmed. That'll be in May to November. And then we have $15,000 a month, 15,000 USD. That'll be for an expanded prize pool, an expanded format for GSL Season 3. Instead of a round of 12, a round of 16. Oh boy. But here we go. So again, if you want to help support the GSL, you can do so via Patreon or via Soup. Do support them. Again, it's a great initiative, of course, supporting the GSL and supporting Korean StarCraft. You can do so yourself. Oh boy. Otherwise, going to be wrapping up here for the week. And again, we'll be back next week for some more StarCraft. When it comes to the CranKy Ducklings, we have a very busy schedule ourselves. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft to be had here, to be held. And I want to see the bar. They've been updating the bar when it comes to like how much the Patreon has been earning. I want to see if we've been improving, if we've been increasing over the past couple of days. Show us what you got. Oh, they're the patrons. Shout out all the Nesty Awards. That's good. But a shout out to the patrons out there that are supporting the event, that are supporting GSL, likewise over on Soup as well. Over on Soup and over on Patreon. Much love, back. Much love. I can see Kronos. I know that they're like trying to censor out. Like, there's Periodista, I should say. There's Kronos. Who else do I notice? Who else do I recognize? Those are the only two, but they're the Soup supporters, the Korean supporters. Much love to Kronos. He's one of the Ducklings. Much love, much love. Is that Piotr on the right? I think so. Este Piotr. Your old mate David. True. Kim? Manifesting good posture. I love that. Good posture, baby. And so I'm just waiting for the bar to be shown. If they will. I think they did so yesterday when it came to the end of the broadcast. Show us the bar, Pappy. Show us the bar. Oh.
Incoming transmission.
Never mind. Never mind. With that, GG well played. We're going to be wrapping up here for the evening. If you want to support us and if you want some more StarCraft content, then bam, you can check us out here over on the rest of our schedule. We're going to be live. We're not going to be live tomorrow in the morning. We're going to be live later on tomorrow evening with Pegasus Cup. We have Pegasus Cup, a replay broadcast on Friday and Saturday, and we have the GSL rebroadcast of the VOD over on YouTube over the weekend. There we go. So again, we have plenty of content throughout the course of the week. StarCraft Evolution, Kung Fu Cup, Wardy TV Monday, TLMC, Pegasus Cup, and many more events. Plenty of StarCraft here on the CranKy Ducklings as always. We live, we breathe StarCraft here on the CranKy Ducklings, and again, we cast more StarCraft than anyone else out there, more than Wardy, more than Steadfast. If you want StarCraft content, then this is the place to be, whether it's here on Soup, whether it's on another platform. Regardless, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time for some more StarCraft. See you tomorrow for some Pegasus Cup action. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao, hasta luego. Support GSL, support the Patreon.